Welcome to the Disarrangement, hosted by the two coolest cats around, Austin Blakely and Nick Branscombe. Prepare to get disarranged.
Come on, come on, for what rises and undulates in your ears is not for the faint of heart. Behold! It's the Disarrangement with your host, Austin Blakely, that's me, and my co-host, Nick Branscombe. How are you doing, Nick?
I'm good, man. Greetings, friends of Earth and beyond.
I've got a question for you, Nick.
All right.
Damn it, I've done lost it. Never mind. It's not that important.
Wasn't that important?
It wasn't that important. And we've got our good friend in third chair and guest, Austin Needham.
Yo.
The first guest we've had on this show.
Oh, number one.
Number uno.
Number one.
Yep, and it's gonna be on episode 2. You were the number one guest, and it's forever gonna be on the internet, and everyone will know it.
Yes. Number one for life.
How's life treating you, Needham?
Pretty good, man.
Yeah.
Just you're working.
You was telling me about that new bike you're excited about, which is a workout bike. But
Yeah, the Velocore Bowflex bike, baby.
big shit, spending money.
Spending money.
Yeah, but so explain that real quick. What you told me about the magnets and shit.
Oh yeah, so it's pretty cool. It's got like from my understanding, it's more of a lot of the stationary bikes are based off of weights to like get your
I assume
higher
that's
resistant.
what this is.
Yeah, it could be.
It's just like weighted on each end.
Yeah.
And that's how it shifts.
Yeah, this one's more like it's magnets. So like the higher you increase your resistance, the closer the magnets get to the wheel itself, and then that's what creates your resistance, which is pretty cool. It makes for a really quiet bike, which is nice.
It's going to be disturbing nobody else in the house, that's trying to
And it's
get
probably
some
like
work done or something.
Haley probably wouldn't even care. It's the dogs.
Probably not.
It's the
like-
dogs. Shut the hell up.
Yeah, Ruka
I'm
comes
trying
in
to
like,
watch
hey,
TV.
listen here. I'm trying to lay down on my couch and not do a damn thing.
Yeah,
And
it's Ruka.
really
The other two dogs wouldn't care. It's Ruka. It's like, shut the hell up.
I'll give you a Rosie has already tried to eat my feet while I'm pedaling. So,
Oh shit!
yeah.
Because you're moving.
Yeah,
You're moving.
yeah.
She thinks it's a game.
It's like the whole vacuum thing where she tries to eat the vacuum the whole time.
I know we're just naturally mentioning the animals. Needham has 3 really awesome dogs that we love very much, and they all have different personalities. So Rosie's a pit that obviously would go after the feet and think it's a game.
Real
Hyper, but good hyper. She's a bunny. Her ears, when she's really curious, they stick up and cross on her head. She looks like a little bunny.
She's a sweetheart.
It's adorable. Okay, so we've got a lot of things that we've sort of wanted to talk about. The sad thing is I forgot legit as shit.
Oh,
So,
man.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And if
That's
you
all
want
right.
me,
We'll replace it with the other thing that we have.
we've got another surprise for you this episode, but legit or shit will not be gone forever, I promise. So first, just what we mentioned, it's pretty obvious that at some point, something was going to happen in the world for us to talk about, and unfortunately, it is a fucking war. So it's been 2 weeks, and during that 2 weeks, a war has, I guess it started right after the podcast release, didn't it?
Yeah, there's a couple days after.
It's some bullshit, man.
The first
it's some
one.
bullshit. And then, okay, so here we are in war. So, there's a lot we can talk about. I kind of sent him some things. You had said you already kind of knew kind of what was going on.
Got the
and
gist.
seen some videos that I had already. And I kind of want to leave it more as an open discussion, and we let it go where it goes. I don't think there's anything out there that we really need to be at news on, but I think this really needs to be more, opinionated. How is this affecting y'all? I know it's 2 countries that are way the fuck over there, but have y'all seen anything? Oh, obviously gas prices, but
Yeah, that's hit me hard right now, dude.
it's about to get worse, which sucks.
Yeah. I try not to look at it just through my own perspective because, what's happening to all the civilians in the Ukraine and stuff like that. I mean, it's probably much worse than just some high gas prices and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
But But yeah, I mean, it sucks for everyone involved. And you know, there you don't know like when it's going to subside. You know, it's just kind of like a lot of the not knowing, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like one of the big things. But yeah, I mean, so far nothing good has come out. I think they've had several attempts to have like some peace talks, or they've tried to negotiate some peace
We're
talks.
on number 3.
Yeah, and
We're on number 3.
It's not amounting to much.
Yeah.
So
And it's mostly because, like, it's mostly the Russian government that's the problem with the peace talking. It's not. From my understanding, it's not the Russian people that and
there's
there may be some.
there's a lot of protesters in Russia, and they're getting like arrested and beat up, just for standing in the streets protesting something that they don't agree with. So
When I mean, I'm not saying obviously what they're doing is against Russian law. So we have to go ahead and say that everywhere is not like America, and Russia, you just don't have free speech. Sorry, that's just the way it is. Not that can't change. It's just without a lot of reform, it'd be hard to take somewhere like Russia and do that. But especially with you were getting into the peace talking. The Russian government essentially is just kind of letting this. They're just ignoring a big issue, like leaving their seat open in NATO. They're just not. They're using certain terminology and words to like make them seem like they have a reason to be doing what they're doing.
yeah,
Now,
I mean,
I as in that video that I sent this to you, which again, time. We all have a day, and I kind of got all that to you late. But to kind of give you some feedback, there is a reason Russia's doing what they're not just blindly doing it. If you don't know, so it's one of those things where it's like you can't. I don't think it's really proper to pick a side in this sort of thing. I just think it's proper to try to get to peace as quick as possible, because it's not helping anybody. That it doesn't help the situation what they're doing. What you think, Needham? You look like you got a thought.
Well, no, it's just it's definitely terrible. I mean, I know y'all have seen the videos of like.
Oh yeah. It's insane.
Yeah, the planes
when some
just
of it's
coming
propaganda,
down. Well,
but most of it is actual like Ukrainians on the ground fucking recording this shit.
And this is like a weird thing too, because this is like the first big startup to a conflict where we have phones in every hand that is videotaping this and that. Like, I know we've had some stuff in the past, like, Afghanistan, Iraq, stuff like that.
Yeah, but it wasn't, and also civilization. You got to think about when we were young, man, and all that shit was going on, no one had a smartphone.
Right. And
now
it's in
you probably had
everybody's hand.
video phones, but it was rare. It was still rare for someone to have a camera on their phone. And then, as soon as we pretty much, I know that we just recently got out of that war, but we were pretty much out of it at a certain point. By the actual fighting was not, it was more of a Cold War sort of thing, and we just had troops there. But just to think about that, like, there was nothing cool to record over there. And if there was media over there doing it, not civilians.
Right, and that's what I'm saying is this one, it's weird because we're getting to see everything firsthand, like from the citizens that this is happening to. And
it happens.
Happens. I mean, like the first day they went in there and started these bombing raids and stuff. Like the video in particular I'm thinking of, there was a mom that they bombed the house right beside her, and like you can see the plane coming in and dropping bombs on the house right beside. And that's just crazy to be able to see something like that. Kind of gives you a new perspective on what's going on.
Exactly.
Do you think because of all of the technology that we have now and being able to see this kind of thing firsthand, do you think that plays a part in, I mean, obviously it's like we've said, it's a very bad thing what's going on, but do you think that having all this technology at our disposal kind of exacerbates like the what people call fear mongering and stuff like that, because we're just seeing so much more of it, and all that kind of thing? Or do you? I mean, do you?
I don't think me personally, and y'all can say y'all's opinion, but me personally, I don't consider it fear mongering. I consider it more propaganda. That obviously both sides, Ukraine and Russia, are using this to their advantage to get across their point. There's a lot of stories. There's a lot of propaganda. The probably the biggest one to me is the Snake Island bit. That, and it depends on how you look at that situation. So, do y'all know about Snake Island?
No.
I don't think so.
Okay, so there's a small island in Ukraine. Well, I guess like on the border of the sea, and they've got like a small military base there. And a Russian boat, like a straight up battleship, pulled up to it, radioed into them, and said, "Hey, we're
Wait,
Russia."
Yes, I have heard this number. I just didn't know that that's what it was called.
Yeah, the island is called Snake Island.
Okay.
So that's what they're keying it in on. But he's like, "Hey, we're gonna blow you the hell up if you don't." Well, he didn't say it like that. He actually was pretty professional. He was, we're about to open fire. You can surrender, and we won't. It's clear as day. That, well, I mean, it was in Russian, but I with the translation, that's what came out of it, at least for us, of what we can get on the internet, because we don't understand that language. But the Ukrainians, obviously have, or the military obviously have phones of their own. They've got things they do. There's probably procedure. I'm sure a lot of those radio recordings are physically recorded. And so it was recorded. You can hear you can hear a lady in the background asking, should we tell them to go fuck themselves? That's what she said.
No, she
Yeah.
didn't.
She said, should we tell them to go fuck themselves? And
This was like the Ukrainians.
yeah, the
people.
Ukrainians about to respond. They're not on the radio yet.
Wow.
They're trying to decide how to respond.
You guys are hardcore.
And and then the fella literally goes, "We better make it clear." And then he gets on the line. And he goes, "Hey, this is Ukraine. Go fuck yourself." And that's the only translate. I've tried to translate it to make sure it wasn't propaganda, and that's as close as I can get to. You go fuck yourself. So I'm pretty sure it's true. And so the story is. This is a story that came back that was pushed by the Ukrainian government, is that it was, obviously blown up. Well, not the whole island, but, they opened fire and fucking anything that was outside died, I'm sure. I'm sure it was, tore the hell up. But the Ukrainians left it open for interpretation. So the media started spreading it as everyone on the island died. That's propaganda. And then later on, they confirmed that most everyone on that island are still alive.
Right.
I think they were in bunkers. I think they were prepared for something like that to happen. But that's just and Russia's doing it too. It's not just the Ukraine. So don't get me wrong. I'm not a Russia purist or anything. I'm just trying to give due diligence to both sides in their endeavor. They're both using it to their advantage.
The Ukraine's, I mean, they're not backing down. They're hardcore.
And
like
if they are, they're doing it secretly. Like if they are not showing any of the outside sources, any media we get, any media online, any media anywhere. They are fucking strong. The president made it a big point that their president, Biden, offered to get him out of there.
That was the funniest thing to me.
And he said, "No, I need weapons." That's what
said,
he responded with.
He offered to get him out. He was like, "I can send you a plane and bring you out of there." He said, "No, send me ammo."
Yeah, send me ammo.
It's like the John Wick when he's like, "What do you need, John?" He's like, "Guns."
Guns.
Lots of guns.
Pretty much.
The Ukrainian John Wick.
Yep.
But that video I sent you, and I should probably credit that video. I wish I could. What a great YouTube channel.
Was it the infographics?
Yeah,
What
it's
if?
infographics.
Love infographics.
Oh no, yeah,
Shout
you're
out,
right. It was
shout out to infographics
Yeah, let me
for posting awesome
find
content.
my
There was
message.
another one that I watched recently too. It was from What If. I don't know if you guys watched that or not, but it's good.
Probably, yeah.
What if, about
Like
kind of
what
Ukraine?
if happened?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this was it was infographics, and this was prior to war actually breaking out. This was actually posted, I think, 3 weeks ago. But what will actually happen if Russia invades Ukraine? And I'm not saying that everything they said was true, but what I'm saying, it gives you a good perspective on kind of what's happening, why it's happening. But they mention in that, that not that Ukraine is like mightier than we thought they were, but they do a good explanation of, okay, well, Russia is a big country and they have other military endeavors they're already in. They can't leave like bases, unmanned. So they only have so many resources to put forth to this war, and that's why that's my speculation as to why they're handling it the way they want this done quick. They want it over with. They want the Ukraine, and that's it. They want it done quick so they can establish Russian military and then pull back reinforcements to wherever else they need them, because they're doing a bunch of shit, and
pissing off a lot of other countries in the process too.
Well, strictly allied countries that you thought, not that Russia was ever the easiest to get along with, but at the same time, they made a lot, and that I think that video does a good job of explaining this too. They made quite a bit of effort trying to be friendly. Not that they did it in a good way. I'm just saying you can tell that the country was putting forth effort to try to get on everybody's good side, and was continuously told pretty much no, mostly by America. So I'm not a Russian sympathizer. Don't get me wrong. What they're doing is wrong. That's not the way you handle a situation. But I can see how the world helped create this, is what I'm trying to say. I can see it. You're just pushing a country that powerful into the arms of, either fighting for the whole entire world or into the arms of what could be your true enemy, when they didn't need to be. They have a president. They're a lot more democratic than they've ever been. And it could have been a secret. I don't know. Russia could have been the USSR still forever, and I just not known it.
The wall never fell.
The wall never fell.
That was a big thing with Putin, was like he was, almost in a sense, like, I don't want to say that Putin is like Hitler, but Hitler was very upset after World War I that Germany was not a powerhouse. They kind of fell.
Mostly that they got the bulk of the blame for that war.
Yeah.
And I mean, they did participate, but they weren't the only people to participate in that war and cause it to happen.
Yeah. And so as Hitler was rising to power, one of his things was like he wanted Germany to be like Europe. Like, I mean, he wanted Germany to be
nationalism.
the one thing.
It's a big deal.
And, and I feel like Putin, was upset when the Soviet Union came to an end, because it was like Ukraine and all those kind of surrounding countries were a part of the Soviet Union, and then
now they're free.
They're independent, and Putin never liked that, and so now he's at this point in time like trying to reestablish those surrounding countries as one kind of place, or at least that's how I understand it.
I guess. I mean, to an effect, I wouldn't say he's as aggressive. He's of course he wants it. I think any country would want land that's got resources on it. But especially when you're a country like Russia, where a good, probably, I don't know, 60% of your country is probably only good for oil. You can't even live on it.
Basically unusable.
Yeah, it's completely unusable other than just a little bit of resource. Where the Ukraine, at least some people can live there. So I don't think he's necessarily trying. I'll be honest with you. I don't think Putin's necessarily trying to do that. I think we've literally the world has just upset and ignored the seriousness of what that country is, and it has been number 2 for a long time in most things, if not number 1 in some cases. When it comes to space travel and shit. So they're tired of being ignored, for trying to be friendly and things like that. The government, I think the people were fine. I think the people of Russia were just like, what the hell? Like we didn't ask for this. Like, where did this come from? And then Putin's like, oh, it's Russia anyways. Let's have it.
Well, do you think maybe it's just the language that does it? Maybe because it's not French. It don't sound pretty when you speak it.
I don't think it's the language, man. I don't
Like,
think
I
it's the
love
culture.
you. I love you.
Yeah. Russians very very aggressive, and the accent's very aggressive. But I don't think that's necessarily it, because Putin, as himself, seems intimidating in America. But why does he seem intimidating in America?
Does that boil down to propaganda on our side too?
Yes,
I mean,
you're exactly right. We made him the Kremlin.
Right.
That was us. It was the world, but that was just commoners, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, it seems like some of this too can be also, especially like from our perspective, a lot of this can be like some rollover back from the Cold War era too, because a lot of our parents, they lived through the Cold War stuff. Yeah. And it's funny, South Park actually, just their most recent episode, they had a whole
Cold War.
It was a joke about it, about how like the teachers went through the Cold War, and like now this stuff is going on in the Ukraine, and so they're trying to teach the kids to like go under the desk in case of a nuclear attack. Yeah. Like that would help, but you know.
It would put you a little more peace when you're dying.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think
horrible to
South
say.
Park has always had a good eye for these things, and like doing it comedically, obviously, but bring it to light some issues and like some thoughts.
Yeah, some shit we're doing that makes things seem a lot more. Which, don't get me wrong, communism. In my personal endeavors, communism, there's nothing good about it. Nothing good ever comes from it. And no matter how hard you try it, there's just going to be bad people around. You're just not going to eliminate all bad people. And it's going to be bad for someone, because someone's going to take advantage of that situation. And it turns into a cult. You drink the Kool-Aid or you don't. And if you don't drink the Kool-Aid, well, now you're in a camp. Now you're getting gassed. Now you're being eliminated. So it helps that mentality that some people have thrive. And I don't. So you should be scared of things like that. I think you should be. But at the same time, there's only so much you can control as a person. That's another thing to anybody listen. I know there's a war going on, and it could easily go into World War III, but always remember there is only so much you can control, because you will go fucking insane reading into all this shit and looking into it. You will go absolutely insane.
The rabbit hole.
Yeah, it happens to me all the time, and I have to check myself, where I'm just like, whoa, you need a break. Get away from the world for a second.
When the invasion first happened, I've seen a lot of people talking about it and stuff like that, and it's obviously still going on, but after a day or so, I noticed on social media, people were going about their daily meme sharing of cats and,
and then it's quickly turned into memes on Ukraine and Russia, which is good. That's I think comedic relief always helps with stress.
And you and me touched on this the other night. I remember a few years ago, there was a hurricane that was headed for the Carolinas and it was like a pretty massive, was a pretty massive hurricane too. And everybody was like all worried and stuff. And people started just making all these memes. You remember this?
Then we memed it
that was
away.
hilarious.
Yeah,
we
memed
it away.
And then like literally as the hurricane was supposed to make its course towards the Carolinas, it started shifting course and like going back into the ocean.
Woo-hoo, we made fun of it enough.
We literally memed a hurricane off course. Yeah. So like I feel like
so we're gonna meme World War III away. Right?
Yeah, that's the hope is to meme a war away.
There's a YouTube historian that I really respect, though, that I've learned a lot of stuff about from him, but I wouldn't say he's like a licensed historian. I think he was a school teacher at one point, and he kind of, I think once he said this, it kind of gave me. It let me know kind of where this is going, but there's a lot of correlation between what's going on now and World War I, obviously. So with that being said, our best case scenario probably is a Cold War, And I started thinking about it, and I was like, yep, that's probably exactly what's going to happen. Now, unless other countries start taking action. If they start taking action, that's what's going to drive it into World War III. But hopefully we can at least meme it into a Cold War where everybody's just like about to press the button and then they don't. If that's got to be the worst case scenario, I think we're doing okay. I think we could do better, but I mean, like, if I had to pray for something, let's just not hit buttons. Let's just not put people out on the ground. Let's talk it out.
Let me ask you this, because most people in power in that position, like president and stuff like that, still to this day, most of them are like older men, or women.
Some women now,
yeah,
which is good.
Now the younger generation, like generations like us or younger, most of us tend to be pretty, I would say, nicer, or we have very nice qualities where we just want everybody to get along and stuff like that. So when we get to be at that age in like our 70s and 60s, stuff like that, like, do you think they'll still be, we'll still be like power hungry, like this generation? You think so?
Oh yeah, it's all about money, man. Yeah, if someone's given the right amount of money, you could become hungry. That's the only reason why people want money, anyways. It gives you power. That's
interesting. I see such a big shift in, like opinion and stuff between like the older generation and like the younger. I just feel like personalities are so much different between those two generations, and I don't know, like. That kind of is something we'll touch on in a little bit too, is how money changes you as you start to accumulate more of it and stuff like that. But I don't know. I guess it's just maybe that's the optimist in me, is that
we would all hope.
Yeah,
we would all hope
that maybe the younger generation that's going to start.
What do you think, Needham?
Power and everything.
Do you think that could make any difference?
Like as far as just how nice we are?
Yeah,
like
if our generation kind of stayed the same temperament, could we change that?
My thoughts on this is that our generation, I think, like us, like, and the people that we hang around with, do have a lighter temperament. We're joking. We really don't care. We don't give a shit about a lot of things. But I think there's just as many people that are completely the opposite, that will go up to be these politicians that we see currently. So I don't see any change happening as far as that goes.
I believe there is change. Like, there's been a lot of good new younger politicians. There's been a lot of bad ones too.
Oh, it's great to get new in, but at the same time, it's like eventually all of them turn into, like, a lot of them have good intentions to begin with. And
It depends on how far they go into that corporate shill, man. I think that's what drives a lot of that. I think that would also, explain why, like, Putin's sort of acting the way he is, because there's other demands. They need more energy over there. They obviously wanted a pipeline through Ukraine, and they said no.
Well, that brings up something else. I mean, like, and all you said was the word pipeline, and this triggered this. But I mean, like, our gas prices are skyrocketing because of what we have going on right now. What happened to this Keystone pipeline, man? Like, I know it got shut down. Like, I mean, is there talks about this coming back up?
That was it was something that I think was a good idea, because you're going to consume gas anyways.
Right.
I think we're going to burn gas. We're going to burn energy. So, the idea was to make it safer to get from point A to point B and faster, meaning that less power outages, less, less issues just in general. Because you think how does your gas station get gas? It's a truck.
Trucks.
It's a truck on the fucking road that could potentially run somebody off the road and kill them, or it just makes things safer. Now there's other
sustainability,
Yeah.
I mean, just for us, rather than having to import all this from like Saudi Arabia.
Exactly. So you're talking more about like using our own gas,
right? That's more I'm getting at.
The Keystone definitely makes things cheaper. and you're using our own gas,
Right.
which is nice. There's environmental issues that come with that, so I don't want to ignore those. That has to be thought about. Me personally, I think it makes more sense to do it that way, and especially in a time like this, it makes sense to use some of your reserve. It's not necessarily the case of releasing like all the reserve. Like Donald Trump was pretty open to using American gas.
Right.
And
Well, because that was the whole deal when Biden got,
yeah,
and not trying to get into politics a lot or anything, but just like that was first day one.
That was one. It was the first thing he did. But little do you know, he was actually for the pipeline over there in Ukraine. So
I mean, how does that make sense?
it doesn't really. Well, but if this tells you anything, Trump wasn't. Trump didn't like the pipeline over there. But his reasonings were different. He saw a country folding for more resources for a larger country that was being aggressive, which is Russia.
Right.
And it's not what at least from my research, there's nothing that Trump did to upset Putin other than, just, normal tax things and making things a little bit harder on Russia when they weren't playing nice, which every country does. And the thing with it is, if that's there and that's more resources for Russia, what are they doing with that energy and what are they planning? That's what he's thinking. Now, I'm not saying that's the way you should think. I think you should let the countries decide and stay the hell out of it. That's me personally. Like, whatever they decide to do with their damn land is on them.
Right.
Unless it starts affecting America, which inevitably it would probably make gas prices cheaper if we're still buying resources from Russia. But you get to the point of gas prices are going up. What happened to the Keystone Pipeline? What happened to using American gas in general? That's a good question for your president.
Absolutely. Well, and another thing, the whole
That's a great
Keystone
question.
thing, when we shut that down, I mean, that cut out how many jobs too,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's almost like that could definitely help stimulate. I think that's something we need to bring back.
It was me personally, I'm down with it. It was more Biden's reasoning and the Democratic reasoning is more environmental. And environmental is something that can be argued for days, by the way.
Well, it can be argued both ways too, because like if we're importing oil and gas from other places,
You're exactly right.
I mean,
it uses oil and gas,
right? Bringing it over in these ships, and God forbid there's an oil spill like we've seen multiple times. I mean that's a mess. That's a shit show.
I think you'd have to guess as to why this country does that. I'll be honest with you. I'm one of the first people to jump into conspiracy theories, so don't ask me that. Because
you need to have my dad on here.
I can have your dad and have these weird conversations. It's not that I like believe conspiracy theories or anything like that. It's just with these open-ended situations where you're never going to get a resolve because you're never going to have that sort of clearance. You're never going to understand why this country decides to do that instead of using our own. There's companies over there and there's people over there that are looking to make money. They could have very easily, invested money into a politician to make sure that America's spending its money in a certain way. I'm not saying that that's the case. So anyone that's listening to this, there is no credibility to what I just said. I'm just saying that it's really easy to insinuate that. Promises are a big deal, and Biden's been known to make a few promises. Well, actually, a couple Bidens have been known to make a few promises over in Ukraine. So,
well, let me ask another question. So, do you think that this conversation about oil and stuff like that, do you think that it's going to be somewhat mute in 20, 30 years as more cars start to go towards electric?
Not in 20,
stuff like
30
that?
years.
You think it'd be longer?
Not in 2030.
Well, and again, this could just, I haven't looked into it deeply, but I mean, it does seem that like the lithium mines that they use to get these electric car batteries and stuff, it seems like they do a lot more harm than what a pipeline could.
It goes both ways.
Right.
So making the equipment, just the computer parts, like you're saying, batteries are a big deal. We can't, for the renewable energy we have over here, we still have no way to contain it. And that's what sucks.
Well, the recycling of these, because these in the electric cars sound like a great idea on paper.
Yeah,
they really do. But
I think it's a good direction to go.
Right.
There's just going to be a better way to handle it later down the road.
Yeah, we've got to fix, because these batteries last 10 years, and then the recycling is horrendous because nobody knows how to do it efficiently. If we could figure that out, that would be a whole nother game.
And honestly, they are simpler machines, which is nice. So there's a lot less cost that comes with something like that for the consumer. Let's say that. I want to say that for the consumer. You're spending a lot less on other things. And typically, it's got really good technology and safety. That most of these electric cars do that. But I really, when people ask me about electric cars in particularly, I tell them, look at the very first car we ever designed. Was it efficient? Hell no. Did it go fast? Hell no. But someone had to make that first one for there to be something to improve. And I think we're going to get there. And I'm one of those Elon Musk believers. Like, I feel like that dude.
I was about to say that Elon's going to be the guy.
I feel like that dude will figure it out. But
he's going to bring us through.
I feel like he will be much, much older by the time he is able to design a car that does not affect the environment in any sort of way.
Unless he goes to Mars first.
Yeah, or has negative effects, meaning that there's so much that you're saving from not having a gasoline vehicle or a diesel vehicle, that it saves the environment, even 0.00001, from being safer. I think it will take him to the end of his life to do that, but I think he's going to be the one to do it.
Well, and I think Elon too. He's done really good about appealing not only to, because when the Priuses came out, that's appealing to one sort of person.
Yeah, and that was a hybrid idea too.
Yeah, that was somebody that's like wanting to like lower their footprint on the environment. Elon's also gone as far as making these like sportster cars. To kind of grab towards the people that like these muscle cars and shit.
Man. Like, of course he wants to do that shit. He wants to have fun.
And that's why, honestly, I actually do kind of think that in as short as 20 to 30 years, like, I think you're going to see a lot more of them on. I mean, I feel like there's going to be half and half.
I think everybody will tell you that. I don't think they can accomplish it in that time.
Well, think about it though. Like, I mean, just look at how they went from when the first car was 1920, somewhere around there, right? Like, in just 40 years, well, 50 years. In 50 years, they put a man on the moon. Like, they went from riding horseback,
maybe past 50 years. I could probably see that.
I think
20, 30 year span.
I just think technology is moving, it just continuously evolving quicker and quicker. I mean, like 10 plus years ago, like you said earlier, we didn't have smartphones 10 plus years ago, and now like that's everybody's way of life, basically.
Yeah, and it has to do, especially when it comes to these sort of fellas, it has to do with their focus.
Yeah.
And everyone knows what Elon Musk's focus is right now, and that's getting to fucking Mars. That's grade A, exactly what he's trying to do. Now, that doesn't mean he's not, and he's still designing stuff, with Tesla and all that stuff. But it's not that he's not doing other things. It's just, it depends on their focus. And we were focused on beating, which I don't know if we beat anybody. I don't know. We were focused on getting to the moon, so we got to the moon. That's how it happens,
Quote unquote.
No, well, I think we definitely went to the moon, but I think here's my conspiracy theories. I think there is definite reasoning to think that we did not have any video of it.
Yeah.
I think it is highly likely that the moon landing that was broadcasted was faked, but I do believe we made it to the moon first, personally. Like, the U.S. government has a way of fibbing that is so nice and neat that they make sure that the truth comes out in an amount of time that nobody gives a fuck. I think that's I think that's one of those things.
Well,
If you want me to be honest,
You got to think too. Yeah, I mean, like,
how hard would it have been to get a camera?
getting a camera in space to work, and then satellite the images back to Earth in the control
at the same
room.
time?
Yeah,
It seems like
and-
probably the vocals and everything. One stall, step for man. One
Yeah,
time.
it was a lot easier
probably.
to set up this podcast. It was a lot easier.
Now, granted, with how many, like 50 years worth of time passing, I mean, we're here, and like, think about it, man. The amount of stuff we're doing right now. How much power would this have taken back in like 1969?
It's insane,
it'd
man.
be crazy.
well, we got more power in our smartphones, right? Than what they had.
In the biggest
Probably
computer
on the whole entire
Yeah,
rocket,
right.
Probably.
Yeah.
We have more processing power than all that shit in our pocket.
in our pocket.
And what's even more insane, and
Pocket rocket.
this is the cool thing that I think, if there is a big amount of change in our environment, this is definitely helping. We're developing devices that take less. It's insane. I know I've got a fan on me right now because it's just a little warm in here, and that fan takes a hell of a lot more power than I ever thought it did, because it's a simple, cheap machine. But, in some cases, it might take less power to actually charge my computer here. Just depending on I'd have to look into it, but how that power brick charges. Same with cell phones, and cell phones we're designing them to charge quicker. So yeah, they may use a lot during that 30-minute period when it's charging, but in most cases it comes out more efficient. So I think especially with cars things and becoming less dependent on oil in particular, I think that is in our future. But until then, and
$6 a gallon.
yeah. Oh,
It's
and
coming.
since we were talking about that, which I think we probably should move subject here. But just to mention, I was looking, I saw an ad for this, and I don't know, I think it was a company that was doing the ad, but they had developed a wind turbine in a post. So it was just a spinning stick. And like, they were talking about how, I guess their design plans are to like put street lights on them and stuff. So you could just have a spinning pole with a street light at the top of it stationary, but as the wind blows, it turns the turbine on the pole, generating power. Now, I know it generates as much as a normal wind turbine, but it's a lot less. It's a lot smaller. It's a tube in the size
Doesn't
of.
take up as much space.
And you can literally put it in places we've already got shit that it can just replace. Now, if someone hits that with their car, it's going to be very expensive. But it's one of those things that I saw that I was like, that's a great fucking idea. Like, to find ways to move renewable energy into things you already have to have, like streetlights. They're going to be around no matter what.
It's the little stuff that you think of. Going back and
a whole
forth.
city of wind turbines and just one gust of wind. How much energy would that generate for a day? Which again, a lot of that stuff is only active while it's light outside and there's weather. But it still cuts your day in half.
Well, you can store some of the energy too. I mean, like
It's not sustainable yet, man. They don't have a way to
come on, Elon.
Yeah, what they're capturing from those devices is not what you'd think. You think that they could just put it into a battery and that's the way it would work. But I think it has to do with the variables of energy of each wind turbine, each panel that's collecting light, things like that. They're not going to all be the same. So I think someone's going to have to design a super battery to really harness the full capacity of capturing that energy and saving it for a rainy day. And then once that's done, no more coal, no more fossil fuels in general. We're just good, you know.
This almost. I know you were wanting to.
But if there's no weather, we're fucked. If there's no sun, we're fucked.
Yeah. Well, I know you were wanting to switch topics. I mean, I did have like a little thing, but I mean, this definitely segues right into something just real quick.
Well, we can. Is it what you've brought to us
It's
today?
just a real quick thing.
Well, we can just move into whatever you want to do, man.
So, well, no, it was a thought that I had, and it's very funny. Just talking about the liquid deaths.
Oh, the water?
The waters, man. And
I tried it. It tastes like water in a can.
You know, like one of our friends, Tyler, he is not a fan of the whole can water thing going on.
Really?
But it's honestly surprising to me that this is the first water that has come out like that.
Oh, well, the can's lined with plastic too, so.
But at the same time, it's like, I know like the plastic bottles, because we have this like epidemic of plastic that's out in the ocean and everything, like the plastic island, trash island, garbage island, whatever they call it now. And a lot of this, what do y'all think? Do you think canned water could be a future for people that are trying to be more conscious about these plastic bottle wastes?
Definitely. I'm down with canned water.
Yeah.
I'm all in on canned water.
I actually haven't. I don't know if I've tried it.
It just tastes like water, bro.
Yeah.
It's water. It's
water.
really not a lot different, and that's why I think that should be the way we go.
They did good on their marketing. Let's just say that. They did great on their marketing.
Fantastic.
Great on their marketing.
And the people that they're getting, like Mark
Ribier.
Mark Ribier.
Oh, I love Mark Ribier.
They have him in on that.
Yeah, if after this podcast, people go listen to a Mark Ribier song. He never plays the same song. They're all different. They're all one-time things. Like he plays it once and it's recorded, and that's the way it is. Go listen.
Boys not allowed. Boys not allowed.
Yeah, you will not regret it. You will not regret it.
And he has a
great.
whole ass commercial about these liquid deaths, and it's
He
hilarious.
does. It's great.
And
I just watched. I've got a skateboarder that I follow on Instagram. I can't remember his name right now. He's a big dude. And he does a lot of tricks and stuff, but he kind of specializes in snapping boards. That's just his thing. He posts that on his Instagram channel of him snapping a board and falling over.
Right.
But anyways, this one he dropped in on like this makeshift drop in, so it's like a wall with a kicker and then another kicker in front of a mound of liquid death, and he just fell into the liquid death, all the cans and shit. It was hilarious. You can see his like mom looking through the window like just kind of like, what the hell is this boy doing?
Yeah,
it's just videotaped on it, but obviously he's got a sponsor from Liquid Death now,
right?
But it was just hilarious. Like, what? God, sounds like I'm farting over here.
Chair over
It's
here.
farting chair. I swear that wasn't me. If it was me, it would have sounded a lot more gross.
If it was me, donkey, you'd be dead.
If it was me, donkey, you'd be dead.
Just watched that movie the other night.
Great.
Always a funny time.
Oh, it's a good one. But yeah, no, with the whole can thing. Back in the day, they had water that was bottled in glass bottles too.
Yeah.
And to me, it's just like the receptacles. And, like honestly, probably the most economical thing that you can do in general is to get a metal container that you bring around everywhere to the gym or whatever.
Yeah.
But with these different options that we have, why are we still even using the plastic?
That's a great fucking question, man. I think it has to do with the molding. That's why they were using glass, and they figured out it was brittle. So they started using plastic because they want to mold it to your hand or whatever. And it's like, no, we're cool with drinking stuff out of cans,
So
too.
you think it's a comfort thing?
Yeah. I think it's it's an appearance. Like they want an appearance for their bottle. They want to be different than everybody else's bottle.
Right.
And it's really hard to make a can different than everybody else's can.
But Liquid Death did it good, though. They took it.
They just did design,
yeah,
man.
Instead of
Monster's been doing it for years.
Yeah, instead of having this molding for this bottle or whatever, we're going to just make a badass logo. Like murder your thirst.
Yeah, that's.
But if you go to canned water though, will you be able to still do the flip?
The bottle flip challenge?
Yeah, the
Nah.
bottle flip challenge. Is that going to
that'll
go?
kill the bottle flip challenge.
Messy.
But I love the bottle flip
You
challenge.
can do it.
Like
It'll
I'm gonna
kill
do it.
the
I'm gonna do it
bottle
right
flip
now.
challenge.
No.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
failed.
Failed.
Never get
Do
to
it
do
with
it
the
again.
pitcher.
Huh?
Do it
Yeah,
with
with
the
the pitcher.
pitcher.
Yeah.
With the pitcher.
We got a big
Please
pitcher
don't
of
do it with
water
the
in
pitcher.
front of us right here.
Please don't do it with the pitcher.
Whew.
So did we want to lean into that, or was that your thing? Do you want to talk more about cans?
I mean, well, no, I mean that was just that was a thought that I had coming into this because I've just been trying recently to get more into like the whole
If you can be conscious.
Conscious about the environment.
small
Oh, what a
things.
good guy.
Yeah, no, I mean it's honestly the small things that you do, whether it's just
It's all about consistency with
carpooling
that
or,
stuff. Yeah.
using a can because cans are a lot more easily recycled than a bottle is,
Yeah,
like a
you
plastic
just
bottle,
smelt it,
rather.
and anybody buys fucking aluminum cans.
Yeah.
Well, they buy it in sheet. They'll just buy a sheet of it and then paint it whatever they want.
Exactly.
The drink manufacturers are going to do the same thing. They're going to get their sheet metal. It's probably going to be recycled. It's probably, you know what I mean? Like,
And how many people have you heard say that this glass bottle Pepsi tastes so much better?
I was actually getting ready to kind of ask you, do you think soda tastes better in a can
I
or
think
in
that's
a glass?
a great way to handle things. Like, I think you do have to decide: does your drink taste better in a certain receptacle?
Well, okay, there's actually science to this as far as
Really?
plastic goes. So, with can and bottle, and glass bottle, may I say, they are not porous like a plastic is. So, a plastic, you're going to lose some of your over time. You lose some of your carbonation, thus losing some flavor and all this. So, honestly,
So it's got to be fresh.
there's
if
a
you
reason,
want the true test.
Yeah, there's a reason why a glass bottle is going to have a better taste than a plastic bottle, or a can would have better taste. Now, of course, cans over time they can deteriorate. Aluminum's not as
It's not
susceptible.
perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like the thing, it just blows my mind that we went from a society that was glass bottles and cans, because you remember the old beer cans back in the day. You had to open them like with a can opener.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which, I mean, now they have the pop tops on it, so it makes it a lot easier. But why did we end up going to this whole plastic society that we're in now? That's
because it's easy.
That's
why. It's not because
is
it's
it
good. It's
cost
because it's
efficient?
easy.
I mean, is that
Probably.
what we're looking at?
The manufacturing's probably a lot easier.
But again, going back to the batteries, the recycling on it's horrendous.
Can't someone figure out how to make it cheaper so people will? Which drink companies didn't stop making cans.
No,
And it's because some people prefer a can.
right.
But I am a true believer that depending on where your drink comes from, like meaning what receptacle it's in, or what kind of machine it came from, or where it came from, yeah, it tastes different. It tastes different no matter what. Like you just can't avoid it. But I'm a guy that doesn't really mind, if you want me to be honest.
Right.
So if they took plastic away day one, like I wouldn't think twice. Like it wouldn't be a big deal to me.
I'm kind of the same way, but there's something about, and like you said, like I don't know how much of a huge difference in taste there is. I'm sure there is, but like there's something about it when I drink a soda from a glass bottle. Like I feel more like a king, drinking from a glass bottle. I'm
I
just
spent
like,
money on this.
Dude, I'm drinking Dr.
Well,
Pepper out of a glass
there's
right now.
some people that they absolutely think that Sprite from McDonald's is better than all other Sprites.
Because
There's science to that too.
Yeah,
It's so good when it
I have
hits
no idea, but
it's the
evidently
same,
it is.
It's the same thing with the pink lemonade from Cookout. Like
The pink lemonade
when
from
that
Cookout's
pink
good?
lemonade from Cookout
I've never
hits
tried it.
your tongue, my God, whew,
There is
it
legitimately
is so good.
science to the McDonald's thing. It's
Yeah.
not just the Sprite; it's the Coke. It's
Well, I
all the
need
sodas
you
in
to
there.
enlighten me, please.
Yeah, okay, so they're the only ones. They long ago in a galaxy far, far away, they actually struck a deal with Coke for two different things. A, they wanted their own concoction of Coke, like their own recipe, so that it's just a little bit sweeter than everybody else's Coke.
Interesting.
And there's a couple things. So there's that. There's there where like normal syrup would come in like a cardboard container that has plastic inside that you hook up
Yeah.
to the machines. Theirs come in metal containers. So
Okay.
that I don't remember exactly what that had to do with it, but that was something special to McDonald's. And then 3, McDonald's has slightly bigger straws because the more carbonation that hits your tongue at one time, the better the taste is. So there's a lot of science behind.
That's why my mom likes them McDonald's straws.
It is.
She'll
There's
save
a lot
them.
of science to it, man.
That's very interesting.
Things that you would never think about, but they do. They've done all the tests. Probably spent millions of dollars figuring this stuff out. Too,
imagine how many people go to McDonald's just for Sprite.
Yeah,
Oh, it's true too. I mean,
Coke, man,
now
is untouchable.
I can be an advocate of that, like saying that I don't think that it's not like Sprite for me, and it's not McDonald's for me. One thing, this was my hangover cure, by the way, is Bojangles. So I had to have a steak biscuit from Bojangles
Love it.
with a large Mountain Dew. I don't know what it is about Bojangles Mountain Dew in the morning, but if you need to get through the day, you will. That's just the way it is.
seems like Mountain Dew though would be one thing that wouldn't help your stomach feel better.
I have no idea why it works. You ask Gage the next time you see him. When I don't know if you remember this, Needham, we were over at your house for a party. It was that night that him and Elijah went wrestling in the yard.
Yeah, I remember that night.
And me and Gage passed out in the living room, and we woke up early that morning, and I ran because he was rough. Poor Gage was rough, and I like dude was having trouble opening his eyes.
Straight to the
He
Bojangles,
was
huh?
rough. Went straight to the damn Bojangles and put a biscuit and a Mountain Dew in that boy, and I just like that. Like he was just like,
Round 2, Elijah.
How? Like that's what he kept saying. He was like, how did this work? Like this doesn't make, and I'm like, I don't know. I just used to do it, when I had to like open on a Sunday, but I wanted to party on a Saturday. Like, it just works for me.
As your cure, Nick, do you have a
hangover cure?
I know you haven't partied as much over time.
Yeah.
But, did you have anything that was your go-to for a hangover cure?
Usually it was like a McGriddle, or something, or like
good fast food does it, man.
Like a pancake sausage.
Yeah.
Good
Dude,
fast food
McGriddles
does
are
it, man.
amazing. We were actually having this discussion the other night, me and my girlfriend, talking about Mountain Dew. I'm not like a huge regular Mountain Dew fan, but like anytime I go to Taco Bell, it's almost like I can't not get Baja Blast because it's
because
just that
it's the
good.
only thing that tastes good there.
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten any other drink from from Taco Bell?
It's like they're
I've called
always
it
flat.
They're bad.
They're
all
flat.
bad.
I don't know how they managed to do that.
Their Pepsi is actually kind of sweet, which I sometimes like.
Sweet and flat.
But it's fine when it's Pepsi. It's not fine when it's Dr. Pepper. They have the worst Dr. Pepper. Yeah, this is coming from an expert, boys. Look at this belly. This is coming from an expert. But no, in all seriousness, they have the absolute worst Dr. Pepper.
Huh.
But the Baja Blast tastes fine.
Yeah, I wouldn't know because all I ever get is Baja Blast.
It just tastes better. I don't understand. I think they do it on purpose.
Come get our Baja Blast. We're the only place that serves it.
Speaking of, and this is for me because I have converted to sugar-free drinks pretty much solely. So if I drink soda, it's sugar-free now. But they have Baja Blast with no sugar.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Talk about
that makes you want to go to Taco Bell.
Yeah.
I just, it's one of the places that as a kid I never wanted to go to.
Really?
And then the older I got, to be fair, as a kid, I was like, let me get a plain cheeseburger from McDonald's.
Oh, yeah.
You'd
I think we were all that way.
You'd go to Mi Pueblo and you'd get like the chicken tenders.
Yeah.
Some adults still do that too.
Yeah, actually, yes. That's something
my
happens.
dad he was a chef. And let me just explain for the people that are listening. My dad, he literally was a chef in restaurants down in like Key Largo and shit. And this dude, we go to a Mexican restaurant. He gets a fucking cheese quesadilla. That's it. Just no peppers, no sauce, no cheese quesadilla, cheese chicken quesadilla, and he is fine.
That's all he wants.
How do you don't like flavor?
No, I've done that before, but I'll be honest with you. It's I'm a chips and salsa guy. I'm a fiend, so I will eat I will eat a place out of some chips and salsa. With that being said, I may only get one quesadilla and just feast on chips and salsa all night.
Well, it's like
and a beer
you
or
get
whatever.
so much. It's like when you go to Texas Roadhouse or Olive Garden, right? And you get like the bread first, and
bread and the salad.
It's
and
like
then you
don't
want to
even-
go home.
You don't even want the meal after that. Like you just ready to for them to give you the check
You're
right then
ready
and
to
there and go.
home.
That's like drinking beer at a place. You drink some beers and then get your food to go.
Oh,
you eat that shit later.
Yeah, but you do that constantly.
All the time.
Yeah, he'll drink at a bar and then take his food home.
Oh, because I know I'm going to be hungry. I want some good food. I want to go home and eat no chips.
Yeah. But no, I wonder this because you mentioned bar. Okay, so we were talking about bottle can things like that. Obviously, beer isn't all of these things, but we were talking about draft anything or from a machine like a drink machine. The way things drink. Are there bar taps that taste different? You would know this better than either of us.
I mean, obviously, draft is king.
Yeah.
No matter where you go,
But if
draft is
you're
gonna be
getting
king.
that draft, does it taste different in certain bars?
It does, and there's things about that too where. So we'll just use our Nick.
You're my drink man.
Can you give me a quick jingle for the Foothills? Just to catch line.
Yeah,
I wanna hear that real
let's-
quick.
Foothills Grill and Tap.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Shout out to Foothills.
Shout out
Shout out to Foothills. That's some free advertisement. The next one will cost
Foothills,
money.
They
Just kidding. I love y'all.
they have some nice cold beer all the time, and I'm not just saying that because I love the place. I mean, they honestly do because beer.
I've
you
never
wanna-
gotten a warm beer from there.
Right. Because
Never.
I mean, and they go so far as to actually put a temperature probe, or a temperature gauge outside, so you can see how cold it is back
Hell
in the beer
yeah.
room. Yeah. So your typical draft beer, you want it, but under about 38 degrees,
Okay.
and they keep theirs about 34. So because I mean, there's a couple reasons. A, you lose some flavor. B, if it gets above 38 degrees, you start having way more head. You lose a lot of your money or profits that way. But it definitely it affects the taste depending on where you go. So I mean, if you go somewhere and you can tell the beer is warm, switch to a bottle.
Switch to a bottle.
Switch to a bottle.
Yeah. Well, I know. For example, like I went to. This was funny because I went with my girlfriend, but for some reason I got taken into Twin Peaks. Oh no, we had a gift card. Yeah, someone gave me a gift card to Twin Peaks, and I was like, "Steph, you cool?" And she goes, "I'm gonna be looking too." So I was
That
like,
sounds like a
her.
response
I
that
was
she
like,
would
oh,
for
say.
sure.
I
Like,
was
oh
like,
yeah.
all right, baby. So we go. Twin Peaks, obviously, there's nice looking ladies. And what was even funnier is there was someone, I think, there was someone we knew that was our waiter. Or waitress, rather. I can't remember
Was it
her
a
name.
friend of my sister?
I think it might have been.
Okay. Then
I think it
know-
might have been.
Yeah.
And she was very, very nice, very good to us. But I'd never drank a beer at a Twin Peaks. Talk about cold beer, dude.
Yeah.
Like that shit was at like 28 degrees. It came with like frost in it. Like the shit was free. It was good. I'm not gonna lie. It was good. But they must be pumping out a lot of it. Like
I'm sure.
they'd have to be pumping out a lot of it to risk that.
That's
risk
like-
freezing your beer.
Yeah, like a place like that.
You got to
or
keep
like
those
a
faucets
Hooters or
moving,
something,
man.
you know what I
Like,
mean? Especially on like a fight night or something like that, man. You gotta keep them rolling, man.
Yeah.
There's this one joint I'll never forget. It's down in Key West. It's called the Dog Islands Bar and Grill. But yeah, I mean their beer. I mean it was right at about 31 degrees that they kept it down there. I'm talking like they pulled it out of because they did bottles, but they had it down in ice, and like the actual place that the ice was chilled too, with refrigeration.
and then they had like a thermometer or something.
Yeah.
showing.
So, but I mean, like they pulled these bottles out of here, and they're just like got ice stuck to the
Frost.
bottle. Oh, it's amazing. And well, I won't go into too much story. I don't want to get them in trouble, but I mean, this was years ago. It was about 11 years ago.
Ah, okay,
But-
okay. It was years ago.
Yeah. I was underage.
But that's fine. That's fine. I think what was it? Statute limitations. I don't know law.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it's past that. by
Yeah, I
this
think we're
point.
past that. But just one more one more hint on that sort of thing. I love Carolina Ale House. That's one of my favorite bars. And it's right there near the mall. And Carolina Ale House. Use that for every bar.
I'm in the jingle business. If anybody listening hasn't really figured, I'm sort of. I'm getting my foot wet anyways.
Well, you got 2 jingles under, man.
2 jingles under
two
your
jingles
belt.
under your belt, and keep rocking. And he's done the music for our podcast. So we want to thank him. Let's give him a round of applause. Anyways, so so Carolina Ale House, I don't think they have this anymore, but it was a Sweetwater beer. It was called Sweetwater Blue. And I loved getting it on tap there because it tasted like a blueberry muffin. It was great. Yeah. Getting drunk on blueberry muffins is exactly what I want to do in life.
That's all my life is about. All my life. Getting drunk off of the taste of blueberry.
All my life I've been
searching for muffins.
Blueberry beer coming from the ale house.
Anyways, so it was so good. But it tasted, it was like grainy like a muffin. So it had kind of a bready taste, but it was also... I want to say it was a wheat beer. I can't remember. It was good, though. Anyways, so I get it in a bottle because I'm just like, I need this at home. It's not a good beer.
Not the same.
Not a good beer. I don't know why, personally, but this is nothing against you, Sweetwater. I may have got a bad 6-pack or whatever. I love all your other beers. I'm just saying, on tap, the Carolina Ale House knew how to serve it. Whatever they were doing... They knew how to start.
Shout out to Sweetwater.
I should have trumped so I'm not made fun of for sucking wiener.
This is when we need them cameras.
Yeah, this is when we need
That's where it's for.
I was going to say, but
am I skiing?
That's interesting you say that, though, because that had given me the idea of, for one of our next pods, we want to get into, and we're going to do it on this podcast, too, we want to get into trying things like food or drink or something like that. So,
We have to hint this off with one more thing before you get there. I know exactly what you're doing.
Okay.
I know exactly what you're doing.
What am I doing?
Okay, so we were on the Facebook page. And Nick is amazing.
I actually was not going to.
No, I'm mentioning this. We are having this discussion, and I think we're going to be absent of Needham for a second, but he will be back to defend this. So, problem, and this is not a legit problem. I'm just giving Nick hell. Okay, so Nick has been very good to our fans and keeping them entertained really on our Facebook group. And if you want to find
engaged.
us, it's the Disarrangement, and it's just a group page. Come join in the fun. We're having a lot of fun over there. And so Nick just kind of throws this out there. I wasn't involved in this conversation. I just kind of come up on it, and fries or chips, and that's a big discussion, bro.
That's the thing too, because I was trying. I almost was like, maybe I should do the age-old pineapple on pizza thing, but I was like, that's overdone.
Oh, we can have those debates at any time.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, fries and chips, and I
didn't realize that this was as taxing of an issue as it really is too. So, I think I did good.
Yeah, I'm actually going to pull that post up.
Some people were wanting specifics. They were like, what kind of chips, what kind of fries?
That was funny too.
And, I didn't know specifics needed to be involved. That was my bad. But because I'm always at a dilemma, like when I'm at a restaurant and I'm ordering a meal and the meal comes with either fries or chips, and I'm in a deep fried mood, right? I'm just like, oh my God, what do I? Because what if their fries aren't as good as their chips, and vice versa?
Yeah, it's hard when you're at a restaurant. I'm not gonna lie. There's been many a times I've not gotten the tots and it be a bad idea.
Right.
It's just like, God, those look so good.
Yeah, I mean, why? If you it's like when you go to Bad Daddy's. Like, are you not gonna get the tater tots? With the Bad Daddy sauce.
Yeah, you want to try the other stuff, but it's hard. Excuse me while I get some water. It's hard because their tots are just so good.
So yeah, I don't know if I can. Most of the time, if like a restaurant has the option of fries or chips, I might actually go with chips because fries are pretty prevalent in most restaurants. I can't go think of a single sit down restaurant or even fast food where, well, except for I guess Olive Garden has fries too. I would imagine.
Most places do have fries,
Yeah.
at least for children.
So but not every restaurant offers the option of chips. So when I see the option of chips, I will most of the time opt for the chips. And that's actually, y'all used to just call me that, chips.
Yeah,
because
that's still a nickname.
Because I would go over to my friend's house, and if there's a bag of chips, you best believe
he's in them.
I'm getting in them because I love chips.
He's gonna find it somewhere.
I will find it.
So with the fries and chips, I'm just a fries man. I've always been a potato man. So I like chips too, but good fries always beats good chips, in my opinion. That's just me. Sacrilege. What do you think? Sacrilege. Loving chips. What do you think, Needham?
I'm both sides of the coin on this one because
not. Oh, come on, man.
Dude, I love a good chip. I love a good
I thought
fry.
you was gonna be a fry man with me, man.
Okay, I'll give you this. As far as fries goes, you can always pick a fry from where it came from.
If you had the best fry and the best chip, that's what I'm talking about.
I like crisp.
You gonna go chip?
I like crispy.
So if the fries are crispy?
So when he goes to Dario, he tells them fries extra crispy.
I said Nick Branscombe used to work here. You best
make these
best
fries.
fix this.
Shout out to Dario.
That's my best friend. You best come up here.
But here's what pisses me off about Cookout more than any other aspect about Cookout, which here lately, actually the last time I went to Cookout, I was a little disappointed too because I asked for, a big double burger and they gave me a 2 pieces of bread and 2 pieces of charcoal is what they gave me.
Oh, they overcooked it.
They way overcooked it.
That sucks.
But Cookout, you best live next door to Cookout if you want them fries fresh. Because if you live 2 minutes from Cookout, you get them home like that. They're soggy as hell.
Soggy at all times.
They're good when they're fresh, though.
They are great when
they're
they're
great
fresh.
when they're fresh.
So great.
McDonald's fries do that too. Where it's you get them home and they suck ass, and you're I know these are good fries. I know these are good.
Now, this isn't like science that McDonald's did, but somebody definitely went in there and checked this shit. They did a timeline. They got like 4 or 5 different orders of fries, and they did a timeline. So they did they said I think it was 5 minutes is optimal time to eat McDonald's fries.
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
At 5 minutes.
By 7 to 8 minutes, they're starting to get a little bit moist. They're still okay, a little bit moist. 10 to 12 minutes, they're pretty limp.
Yeah,
soggy.
if you got a 15-minute drive,
15-minute fry, you're done, dude.
You're screwed.
You are
Well,
done.
that's what I really.
They're already shriveling.
That's what I really love about Dario fries. And for anybody that is out of the Carolinas, Dario is a restaurant in actually just North Carolina. I don't think they've made it to South Carolina yet.
It started in our hometown.
Started in our hometown in King, North Carolina.
Shack.
They're just a fast food joint that's got burgers, hot dogs, and chicken sandwiches and stuff like that.
They even got souvlaki and shit now, man.
Yeah.
Greek shit.
They got.
My mom likes their chicken sandwiches, or not their chicken sandwiches.
The wraps?
Their fish sandwiches.
Oh yeah, the fish sandwich.
Which you gotta wait a moment because they gonna cook it.
They cook it
They
a
gonna
while.
cook it fresh, but it's good.
They're also very much known for ice cream and stuff like that. But their fries, good God, they are so good. And those are fries that can sit out for a minute and still be fairly decent.
So here's something I have to say about that though with Dario. Y'all remember that story of that dude that he went out and lived in a bus for a while, out in,
down by the river.
Down by the river, out in the Alaskan wilderness or whatever, and he went over there on a ice river, and then cooking it back over the ice river. So they ended up finding him later. There's a whole ass book about this.
Oh shit!
But anyway, he died because only food he had was potatoes, and if you eat too many potatoes, it actually poisons you. It's like a starch poisoning or something.
Oh, okay.
That's what I feel like Dario is trying to do to me.
Oh,
Every
no.
time
They're trying to kill you?
They're let me give you 4,000 giant fries.
See, I'm down with that. That's what I want.
Blakely wants to die.
That are unevenly seasoned.
If
I will
Blakely
take
is
your
going
fries,
to
Needham.
if Blakely is going to die, That's how he wants to go.
I wanna go happy.
Is starch poisoning from Dario.
Yeah. I actually, me and a lot of my friends would probably be okay with that sort of death. So on the Facebook group, we had one vote fry. We had one say it depends on who's cooking. One said
My
fries.
Uncle Jerry makes the best darn fries you ever had.
Your lovely lady asked what kind of chips. She was the one that did that.
Too specific.
Of course. Depends on where the fries are from. That's okay. So
Something we
we're
touched on,
clarifying. Best case scenario, he's probably going fries. We had another fries. And then we had one potato salad, which was my mother.
Which was Blakely's mom.
Oh no, I love me some potato salad.
We're gonna turn my mom into a meme at this point.
Susie, if you're listening.
You're gonna get really popular if we do, Mama.
Russia or the Ukraine? Potato salad.
Potato salad.
What are your thoughts on NATO? I love potato
God, this
salad.
chair keeps getting stuck. I'll learn one of these days. So anyways, that's going to lead into Nick's big failure here because we're mostly fry, but it's fine, Nick.
Hey, man,
We'll do
I've
your
been
chip review anyways.
I've been on the outside my whole life.
I was
It's
with you with
nothing
chips,
new.
okay, Nick? I got you.
yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you,
Needham
Needham.
went chip. And it's not that chips are bad. Don't get me wrong. I love good chips, and I love good fried chips, just like deep fried chips. But like I used to do that at King Kitchen.
Fried chips.
Yeah. I get their chips.
Oh
over
yeah, their
anything
chips
else.
are freaking
Yeah, 'cause
magnificent.
if you get them,
Chips
like,
and ranch.
Shout out to King Kitchen.
Yeah.
King Kitchen.
King Kitchen, yeah.
Just add yeah.
Just add
Yeah,
yeah.
if you get them them fries that they talk about, which I think they have a regular order of fries, and they have like the fries that they bring out to you. That's literally a whole ass potato.
Oh,
cut
that's their
into 4
tenders, or not
sections.
tenders. They're wedges. They call them
Yeah.
wedges. They take
So
a potato,
it's a whole potato.
cut into 4s, and they give you 3 of them or something like
It's
that.
ridiculous.
And
They're all fried.
deep fried in their chicken batter or whatever.
And
oh my God,
Oh,
they
it's
are
delicious.
killer.
It's
They
delicious.
will kill you.
That's the
but-
chef just saying, "Man, I don't feel like cutting this up in a bunch of slices.
But
I'm
they're
just gonna,
good, man.
I'm just gonna put it in 4 big
Quarter
chunks."
this.
They're really good, man. I'm not gonna lie. Those and some ranch, pretty good too. We forgot about wedges, man.
Wedges.
Curly fries, waffle fries. See,
That's
fries
we'll
can be in
save
any
that for
form.
another day.
But anyway, so we've got chips. So I guess we should go there since we're
we doing that now?
segueing. We
All
should do
right.
that now.
Okay, so
That way you can hear us crunching.
I was in Sheets the other day and I noticed that Doritos had some new flavors out, and I thought, what an interesting way to try them, or what better way to try them than on our podcast. So I got 3 different new flavors. I'm going to pull. All right. So we got spicy ranch, and there 2 of them are called 3D. So I don't know if that changes like the form of the chip.
Yeah,
or
I feel
something
like I've
that.
seen the 3D ones.
Well, the 3D was an old school thing back in the day.
Oh, okay.
They brought
so,
it back.
So we got
I feel
spicy
like I've seen
ranch,
those,
and then we've
so-
got chili cheese nacho. And then we also have another one that's not 3D, but it's like organic Doritos, and it's white cheddar.
That's what I'm excited for.
Yeah, I'm excited for that
curious.
one.
I'm curious.
So what you guys want to try first?
Well, okay,
we'll
let's
just set 'em
start
all
out-
up here.
Let's
All
right.
start out with the 3Ds.
Start with the 3Ds,
The ones
okay.
we know.
All right, let's do
you want blue or red?
blue is spicy
What flavor
ranch.
is blue?
Blue is spicy ranch, and the red is chili cheese nacho.
Okay. I'm down with either.
All right,
Need them
let's try
pick. Need them pick.
We're gonna start out with one in particular.
Yes.
Yeah, you jump.
Let's start out with like old school, man. Nacho cheese.
All right.
With chili cheese.
Chili
Well, I mean,
cheese
it's
nacho.
chili cheese nacho.
All right. So as you can hear, the bag is opening up right now. The suspense is getting. Oh, okay. So they look like bugles. Is what they
They're
look like.
3D nachos.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
So
they.
here's
back-
one for you.
Back in the old days, they came in
Hey,
little
whoa, whoa, whoa.
containers.
Are we supposed to see them together?
Oh, okay.
We
okay.
can, I guess.
It's like a shot. You don't shot.
You
unless
gotta do it
everybody
like
is
you gotta do
ready.
it like a wine though. You have to have a good.
These are
sniff,
bugles. These are
Good
bugles.
sniff.
Yeah,
first.
they're-
Well, no, they
basically-
smell like chili. They smell like this, like chili seasoning. That's what they smell.
Because
Like.
then the audience has to hear us crunch at the same time.
But
too,
they
so-
definitely look like bugles.
All
like
right,
closed bugles.
So chili cheese nacho. Here we go. In 3,
do it.
2, 1. Wow, that's actually pretty strong.
It's a bugle, dude.
Yeah.
It's an intense bugle.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't.
like
I don't think it's that strong. I mean,
it was really powdery. I feel like
maybe
it was
yours
good,
was
though.
just more powdered
Yeah,
than mine.
mine
They're
might have had.
yummy. They're yummy. I dig it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd eat
All
that.
right,
I would eat a bag of
scale
those.
of 1 to 10. What are we giving that one?
On the scale, what are we comparing it to? A normal Dorito?
Yeah, we'll go with normal
Compare it to a
Doritos.
normal Dorito?
Scale of 1 to
If
10.
if a normal Dorito is a 5, let's go there.
Okay.
So middle of the range. It's like a 4 for me. I'd still prefer a normal Dorito.
Yeah, I give it a 3 actually.
A 3.
A 3.
I'm probably with you, Blakely.
Yeah.
4.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I'd eat it. I'd eat it.
I felt like for me the flavor was a lot. For
Yeah,
me,
I'm probably not
one.
going to go buy another bag.
Yeah,
Well, you bought these, but I probably wouldn't buy a bag.
They'll
of
probably
these.
get finished.
But if they are
at some
around,
point.
I'll eat them.
All right. This is where having cameras would be kind of cool too, but we'll get there eventually. All right, so this one is the spicy ranch. All right, so
Spicy ranch.
I mean,
This is going to turn into an ASMR podcast too. Ukraine ASMR.
all right, one for you,
One for me.
I just like my Doritos.
I just want mine to be powdered.
one for you,
I want the powerful one too.
and one for chips.
They smell good.
Yeah, give it a good smell first.
They smell good.
Okay.
It does smell real nice.
It
Yeah.
smells.
Yeah.
It smells like a weird ranch,
Yeah, well, it's
like
spicy
a different ranch.
I like it.
You can even say on the back it even has one of them on fire.
Oh,
The
okay.
the chip is on
Maybe
fire.
that's the spice.
So
But I can't tell what spice it is.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1. That tastes a lot better than than it smelled. Which it
Okay.
smelled fine, but
So if a Cool Ranch Dorito is a 5, what have you? Because I mean that's how we have to gauge these. So if a Cool Ranch Dorito is a 5, what do we give this?
I think I'm still on a 4. Like I think it's good. I just would rather have a Cool Ranch Dorito.
actually I'm with Blakely. Because like
I just like Cool Ranch Doritos.
I love Cool Ranch Doritos, and I think for me, like I'm actually not the biggest spicy fan. I like spicy stuff, but I
like
don't
spicy.
love it. So
I think whatever is on the spicy ranch, which this was my initial thinking, is that the chili cheese had a chili seasoning on it, making it hotter. Chili seasoning adds a little heat to things. But I don't think there's chili seasoning on those, but whatever that taste of the spice is, it's the same. So I don't know if they're adding something to give you a little, what do they call it, that does the heat stuff in your brain when it hits your taste receptors.
I don't know.
No, it's
Up in them Scovilles, baby.
yeah. Well, it's whatever causes you to feel heat in your tongue. Someone will correct me here.
We need
I think I'm gonna go different than both of you. I think I'm gonna say 6 on these.
Oh, you
liked
like 'em
them
better.
You
I
liked
enjoyed
okay.
that. Yeah,
Are you a ranch Dorito guy?
I love Ranch Doritos.
Okay,
I do.
okay.
I
You
think
think those are better though? wanna give
honestly,
them
I
better.
think less spice would definitely do well.
I was fine with the spice. I actually was fine with the spice on both of
try
them.
The flavor, that initial flavor that popped into my mouth, I was like, "Wow, that's really good."
You need more of those? Get another one of those. We did.
Let me get another one. Yeah, that one.
They're just good, man.
No, I actually do agree with Needham. The initial taste is really good. And it's the later spice though. It's where it loses.
See, I'm fine
it
with
for
the
me.
spice, but I like spicy things, but I don't thrill seek spice. So I don't get hot shit just to get it hot. I get it hot if I prefer it hot.
You're gonna be really mad at me the next time I come on this podcast.
What you gonna do?
Already got plans.
He's
All
got
right.
plans.
All right.
Well,
so
you'll be around, so that'll happen soon.
all right. Last one is these are simply organic. Now these are back into regular tortilla chip form, but they're white cheddar. So
They look
really
like they've got They look like they've got the original Doritos logo.
yeah. And judging
They
by
didn't do anything fancy for this.
judging by the photo of the chips on here, there's some red specks on them. So I'm kind of curious. All right.
I've never thought that I've ever needed a white cheddar Dorito, but this might give me a reason.
I'm gonna give you one that's got a lot of seasoning.
Yeah,
in
I
it.
want a lot.
Good one.
All right.
I want the covered one. I want the one that's covered.
All right.
All right, let's
Here
give
we
it a
go.
Let's give it a good sniff first.
Mine's like the shape of my mouth.
Oh, I can smell the cheese.
I was like, yeah, definitely white cheddar.
Definitely smell the cheese.
Yeah. Oh, that's white cheddar.
right.
Yeah. All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
You know,
I am actually disappointed.
I am so underwhelmed with that.
Yeah.
It was very bland.
Very.
What did you do, Doritos? What
Do you
did
think it's because it's
do?
organic?
No, I
Maybe
don't.
is that why?
I don't think the
I think
chip's
they
that much
fucked up.
different. No, it's got.
The cheese part
Yeah.
didn't taste like
It's-
I thought it was going to.
It tastes wrong. It
yeah.
tastes fake.
Tastes
Well,
wrong.
question for you.
I mean, I'd still eat a bag of these.
if this
but-
was like the what are those ones like they have the Harvest Garden salsa?
Oh,
Sun
the
chips.
sun chips. I
If
love
that,
those.
If that was a sun chip chip, you'd be like, okay, it's okay. But because it's
I-
Dorito and you want it to pop with flavor,
Sun chips,
like,
man,
no.
I
Sun chips are
absolutely
great, though.
love them.
yeah,
so it
no
doesn't
matter
matter.
what. Well, there's only like 3 flavors, right?
And I'm
garden
fine with
sauce
all of
is
them.
Yeah.
banging. I
I'm-
Garden
I'm-
salsa is really freaking
I
good.
am absolutely content with every single one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I will eat a bag of just original Sun chips. Okay, so this is more. So they use organic corn in this, which it could be the same corn. Maybe their corn's already organic. What does it say in this? Corn flour. Okay, so this is more corn than flour.
Not bad.
Buttermilk.
Just
There's a lot of cheese in
It's
this.
very
It says
underwhelming.
organic
Yeah,
cheddar. The organic cheddar is milk, cheese cultures, salt, enzymes.
Maybe if we would have started with that chip, it'd been different. After
It's got sea salt on it. That's why.
I like sea salt.
I want to do this again. Have you ever had like a? Have you ever thought when eating a Dorito? Have you ever been like, "This is salty"? I've never even thought about that
No, it's always
until now.
flavor blast.
I think it's the salt, the salt cheese connection thing. Like it's just, it's not.
No, it's still underwhelming the second time.
Let me.
I still think it's like partially the chip.
Yeah, let me be clear here. I think the chip's fine. I'm not like throwing this under the bus. If you're looking for an organic option of Doritos, which I don't think anybody is,
I mean, if you're
but
buying
if you are,
Doritos-
if you're looking for an organic option, this will work. This will satisfy that. It's just not as good.
I mean, if I was given the choice between like a regular tortilla chip or that, I'd probably pick that because it's got a little bit of flavor to it.
Yeah. No, I'd still
But-
probably go for the
I'd probably go for the regular tortilla.
I probably
Yeah.
would. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
regular tortilla, no salsa.
Yeah.
no
What
queso,
are
no.
these compared to?
I could eat a whole-
How do we even scale these? Maybe a regular tortilla chip.
Like a Santita or something like that,
Yeah.
which I freaking love.
No, I think
Santitas,
these are still cheddar, so I think it should be in the nacho realm. Compare it to a
But like,
normal
what
Dorito.
has that? Like,
Compare it to a normal Dorito because
well,
it's
if
still
it's compared to a
cheese.
normal Dorito, it's 0.
Do it. Yeah. Okay. So you zeroed.
I'll give it a.
I'm still eating them.
I'll give it a.
I hate it, but I love it.
No, it's not that I love it. I think I'm just hungry. I haven't eaten since what 12.
I'll give it a 2, because I would eat the bag because I'm chips. But,
Yeah.
I'm chips.
But yeah, like Needham said, it was a little underwhelming. So there you have it. Those are the new kind of. I guess they're
I
new
didn't
flavors
give a
of
rating.
Doritos. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Blake.
Yeah,
I
it's-
totally
it's-
skipped over you.
It's a 2.
Okay.
I think you did good on that.
Yeah.
Needham's just really upset because we were so hyped on these, and he's
Yeah,
just like
I was.
0.
I was like, why are these not anywhere near as good as I wanted them to be?
Yeah.
I think Doritos. I think you could just do better with your cheese flavor.
Yeah, if you put some like, because does it say like I don't know?
You
I
fucked
haven't seen
up
the
on
bag.
this one.
Does
You
it say,
could do
like-
better.
Does it say like mild, sharp?
No, it just
It's
says white cheddar.
It's white cheddar, which is kind of to me. It kind of tastes more like.
Indigestion.
Excuse me. Well, a chip got caught in my throat. But it tastes more like a kind of like an American white cheese. That's kind of what it tastes like to me. But I feel like it could be. It tastes processed, which it's a processed bag food. It's supposed to. But I'm just saying it tastes. If you're gonna do something like that, fucking no holds barred. Make it a $10 bag. Do what you got to do, to get it there. Because if someone's buying organic, they're gonna purchase it. you know?
Yeah.
It's totally off topic right here, but I mean, we're talking about cheese. You ever heard of this cheese? It's called Matika Mahone.
You want to what? you, you Matika my what?
So it's called Matika Mahone cheese. So I got it at the Whole Foods, if that tells you anything.
Oh, you bought this.
Yeah.
You bought this cheese.
Yeah, so, well, it was one of those things where it's like, they have all these different cheeses. I know about, looks-wise, what I want in a cheese. And so I looked at this, I was like, yeah, I want that, but I don't want to spend $20 for, like, a tiny little chunk. Or you know what I mean? So they had this, like, try it before you buy it thing up at the Whole Foods. It was like $2. I was like, yeah, let me get that.
That's the way to go.
It was amazing, right?
Good.
And so I started looking it up, and it was like, I can't remember the whole story of it, but like, it's like island cows. They have like island cows that make this.
They call me an island
That
cow.
is literally
Island
Island cow.
That is literally what I was getting at with this, because me and Tyler sat there one night eating this cheese. He was like, "What'd you say it came from?" I said, "Island cow." I'm just an island
I'm
cow.
island cow.
Just making
cow.
that cheese.
Shout out to the Island Boys.
You milk me now. Okay, we should probably
So-
get away from cheddar.
So next one, I think we should do, like you were saying, talking about that blueberry beer. I think we should do exotic beer.
You want to do a beer?
Let's do exotic beer
We can
next
do a
one.
beer.
Yeah.
Oh man,
We'd have to have Needham on for the beer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let me find you some of those. I got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we'll let Needham provide beer. I've really enjoyed this conversation, even though it it ended on Island Cow and we started on Ukraine. So what a thing I wanted to bring up, and I think we should try to do it. If it doesn't work out in my podcast editing, pardon me. But I'll let you know what to look up.
We're still new.
But I'm gonna try my hardest to, here in a second, give y'all the ability to hear this throughout the podcast. And I don't know if Needham got to watch this video. So
Was it the?
it was Corey Feldman.
Yeah, I watched that.
Okay.
Oh my god.
So
Song has actually been
Oh
stuck
my
in my head all
God.
day. Though.
so if somehow miraculously I'm able to do it, it's gonna happen right here. And that shit was crazy, wasn't it? In real time, that was a lot funnier. So Corey Feldman, as you just heard, if I did that correctly, came out with a song called "The Comeback King." And Corey Feldman's always been one that's dabbled in arts, music. You know, obviously he's an amazing actor. He's had a lot of tragedy and a lot of craziness go on in his life, obviously. He's been a good advocate for some people. He's been a crazy advocate for some people. You know, he's done different things. But this in particular is not, I don't think anyone asked for this, to be honest with you. It's not that no fault on you, Corey. I'm not saying you're bad or anything. What I'm trying to say
This was interesting.
is that this was a weird play. This was a weird play.
And may I ask, who was the person that was rapping over top of that? Like,
I think
who
that
is
dude did a decent job.
The dude,
Curtis
honestly,
Young, is that his name?
He looked like a
Curtis
young
Young Jr.?
Dr. Dre.
Yeah, Curtis Young.
Shout out to Curtis Young.
Shout out to Curtis Young and Corey Feldman. So just to put this into perspective, is when I watched it, I was like, no. Like, I just felt I guess my it's kind of like that chip. My expectations were really high, and
They were.
then I respect him. I respect him.
I love
but
Corey,
I never
my
listened to his
expectations
music.
for our rap. Was
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I
Like-
was never. Well, I didn't know I was getting a rap. I also didn't. I've never listened to his music, so I had no idea what was going or what was about to happen. I was just like, interesting. So I go watch it, and I want to be completely honest. I don't think it's bad,
I actually don't think it's bad either.
but what I thought was more funny is when I sent it to you, Nick. You literally messaged me back and was saying like, "Yeah, but I don't think this is serious," and I'm like, is it though?
Well, I said I was like, he could be serious, but he could be trolling too.
I don't know. When I first watched it, I'm kind of on the Nick camp here. I was like, "There's no way he's being serious."
Well, I'm about to shut this down really fucking quick. I watched a live performance that came out like 3 days ago that someone recorded. He's touring. There was a live performance. The rapper was there. It's serious.
Oh wow.
It's serious. He did the dance and everything.
I think what threw me off.
He had a full band.
What threw me off was the whole fucking Michael Jackson Thriller outfit.
Yeah.
He really, I looked that up too. I was like, that has to be intentional. That's kind of what I was thinking. Like, he's definitely trying to copy Michael here. But
It has to be.
I was listening.
He's had some history with Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
too.
but I was listening to some of.
Oh well, I mean, knowing his history, was it like that kind of history? Like,
No, it was a friendship. I
Yeah,
thought.
it was a friendship. He's actually claimed that that Michael Jackson has never. He's always claimed that it was always an innocent relationship between him and Michael Jackson.
that's very interesting to me because I know Corey Feldman had a lot of history where it was like
He had a lot of bad
He's had
shit
some
happen.
abuse and stuff
Between his family, between people around him,
Yeah.
just letting shit happen. And money wise, he lost a lot of his money just because of his family.
Yeah, for sure.
But I just want to say though that I watched again other live performances and listened to other songs, and in every single one of them there is a heavy Michael Jackson influence. So this is something he's consistently done since he started making music, and that's where I was like, this is, excuse my phone, this is serious. Like this is just the way he makes music. Now I'm not gonna lie. Once we got through the intro and he started doing the like the actual dark talk rap, I was cool with it. Like I was like, you should have kept doing that, bro. Like that was cool.
I'm kind of opposite. Like I actually kind of dug the chorus. Like I think the melody and everything is cool. But here's my thing with it. I don't think that he's one of those guys. He was like an actor, kind of trying to go into music, and I just think that sometimes you should maybe just stick with one. It's like he has the type of voice that it's like he's just not really meant to be a singer, really. He tries and kind of gets an okay product out there, but it's like he just kind of has the kind of voice. To me, it's just like he's not necessarily a singer.
I think with that whole thing, though, man, it was like
he's trying to be Michael.
He is 100%.
That's the problem.
100%, especially with that song was trying to be Michael.
If he just didn't try to be Michael, it might be different.
But at the same time, I think if he would have came out with this 30 fucking years ago
In the 80s.
it'd have been a whole nother story.
Yeah.
Where he's not like, because he looks like, I hate to say this, I like the dude, I really do. But he looks like a fucking has-been trying to fucking
The
do a
production
come-up.
on it was kind of that way.
Right.
Yeah.
And that you can tell, like even in the backup vocals, like, and I almost wonder if he produced it himself. I wonder if he fully produced it.
Probably has the money to do that.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, in some cases, I feel like I could have mastered that better. Or at least encouraged him to get better takes in some of the stuff. And it's not that he was always off or anything. It was like you can tell there's talent there, but he's also trying to be someone he's not.
That's actually, that was kind of what I was getting at. Was I just, he made great movies in the 80s. I mean, like he was spectacular in the Goonies. And
So many good movies.
Yeah.
My favorite was Stand By Me.
Stand By Me was great.
My go-to.
He was in License to Drive with Corey. The Corey Haim
Corey
was
Haim.
with him too, and they became the two Coreys.
Most of those child actors from the 80s are unlike any of the child actors we got like nowadays.
Yeah.
They were I mean they were so clueless as to what was going on and what they were getting paid and shit. But
I think child actors
products.
today remain a little bit more relevant throughout their
definitely.
careers than they did back in the day.
Yeah, but the cult of what all those movies created and did for so many people growing up during that time is way different than. I mean, I can arguably say that they had probably helped more children receive entertainment than like Justin Bieber or some shit. Like now, there's not kids watching it nowadays or anything, and obviously we watch it and other adults, but I still feel like those movies are just so timeless and they will forever be there. You know,
They filmed movies in a way back in the pretty much throughout. I mean, cinema changed a lot. I think once like the 70s got here, or like mid 70s, you know, and it kind of stayed that same way up until about 2000. You know, with just the certain way they filmed movies.
now everything's they could probably do it in one tiny studio room at this point.
Yeah.
You don't even need to pay for travel or anything if you don't want to, you know, do that. You know, you could make a low budget movie look really awesome.
Yeah.
You know, oh, look what DC does, man. Like DC will, you know, most everything they do is computer generated now. But anyways, I just thought it was really interesting that Corey Feldman came out with that song.
So if
And-
you had to pick one, I mean, like top, like your top Corey Feldman movie, what is that?
It's Stand By Me.
Stand By Me for you.
The Goonies for
I
me.
think Lost Boys.
Lost Boys is
100%.
good too, man.
100%.
Lost Boys,
is it.
and it's not because that Corey Feldman was like the best character in that movie or anything like that. That movie just does so many things for me. Like I just love that movie to death.
I think I need to go back and watch that. I don't even know if I've actually watched that one all the way through.
It's
I haven't watched it
so
since I was a kid because
good.
it scared me.
It's
when I was a kid.
kind of creepy, but a lot of those movies were creepy.
Yeah,
Who play,
The Goonies was great.
Who did he play in the Goonies?
he was like the I can't remember his name. I was trying to think of it earlier today, but he was like the cool friend.
Here, I'll find it out.
And
yeah, it was the cool friend.
he was a cool friend
and
he spoke Spanish too.
okay.
Because he kept telling the Spanish maid all the so the mom would tell him what to tell her, and then he'd end up telling her something different, like if you mess up anything in this house, we're gonna lock you in the basement for like 2
they have
weeks.
a sex dungeon up.
Oh,
there.
he was Mouth.
Mouth.
That makes so much
Okay.
sense now.
Yeah,
I about forgot it.
he's the one that makes the fat kid do the truffle shuffle.
Yeah, do the truffle
Do
shuffle.
the truffle shuffle.
That's Chunk now, man.
Chunk, yeah.
Look at that
Chunk's
picture.
skinny,
I wish we
ain't
could.
he?
Yeah, he looks a lot different.
Yeah,
Look at
he's
Chunk.
It's a whole nother one.
Mikey got chubby.
Well, of course, the character that played Mikey, Sean Astin, he went on to do really big things like Rudy and then Lord of the Rings and
Click.
Click. Yeah, with the Speedo,
Click.
Speedo
The
torpedo.
Kicked in the
Speedo,
nuts.
Speedo.
Cheating on me with Johnny G String
He
here?
was kicked square in the nuts.
Yeah, so I want to kind of end this one with one quick question. So, should Corey Feldman stop?
I don't think so. I mean, he can do what he wants.
I
You know,
think he should stop music.
I don't think.
You think you should stop music?
I don't. Well, I don't. To me, it's not hurting anybody. You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
do
it would
what you
it would
want
be
to.
it would be different if it was forcing people to become drug addicts or alcoholics or something
Yeah.
like that. But or if he was encouraging that. But he's doing his own thing, and whether we think it's good or just weird or whatever,
He's gonna sell tickets.
he's gonna probably profit from it and help his life and his family's life. And so no, I mean I wouldn't say he should stop. He should do what he wants. There's plenty of artists that I wish would not make music anymore that still do it. So
I don't necessarily wish. I wish he would go, like, I wish he would just go, like, if he's producing it himself or whoever his producer is, or if this rapper's his producer, I think he needs a better producer. And I think someone that can, make him sound good and then kind of show him, even vocally, kind of how to continue to do things, even if he wants to be a Michael Jackson tribute.
That's
Like-
harping on what he said. Yeah, I think as a 50-year-old man dancing around like that is cringy.
It's got choreography, man.
Yeah, it's
got
definitely
all kinds of
cringy,
choreography.
but hey,
It's
do
one
what you want to
thing
do, man.
If you do that, I think at that age, you should do like Dr. Dre did in the fucking Super Bowl. And you just you do your shit and just kind of stand there. You know what I'm saying?
You just stand there.
You stand there. You know who I always confused Corey Feldman for though back in the day.
Who?
Fucking
I need to look something up.
Oh no, you'll know him as soon as I say him. 2.5 Men.
Charlie Sheen.
Charlie Sheen.
I always
They
confuse
look
Charlie
pretty
Sheen and
similar.
Corey Feldman.
Charlie Sheen's a lot.
They have
lot
that same
larger.
lip thing going on though, like.
Yeah, their
Same
facial
kinda hairstyle.
structures very similar.
But do y'all remember the Lost Boys much? I know that like
It's
Kiefer
been a long
Sutherland
time.
was like definitely
Since I was a kid, man.
It's been a
Yeah.
long time, but I remember loving that movie.
That movie was and he honestly didn't have a huge part in it, but the part he played in it was really good.
Yeah. When I know Steph loves that movie, and obviously the Goonies. But just Stand By Me for me personally,
It was a
I have
great
to go
movie,
back and
too.
watch that one.
that's
for
my
sure.
go-to. So that I think leads us into kind of what Nick was kind of wanting to ping off this because
Well-
Corey's not necessarily in. I mean, I guess he's in the light with this video, but he's kind of falling off the face of the earth and kind of
Well, he said-
shattered to an extent.
Well, he's had problems before with money and stuff like that and failing relationships like a lot of, well, not just celebrities, but regular people in general. But so I get in these moods where I like to go listen to a certain band for a little bit, or I might go watch, one of their live concerts or something like that. And the other night I went on an Eagles kick because the Eagles were just recently in concert, and we need some chips. We need some chips over here.
We're over here hogging the chips,
hogging the
and I'm
chips.
like,
Needham's-
Needham should get some chips.
Needham definitely wants the white cheddar.
Yeah, the white. Oh my
white
God.
cheddar. Hey, I ate a couple of those where I only ate I think the one I've touched the least is actually the chili cheese nacho.
Yeah,
sorry,
those
I
have
got
been
a soft subject.
That
Sorry.
that Cool Ranch. That one's where
It's
it's
good.
at.
Spicy
If
ranch.
it wasn't for the spicy, it would
Yeah,
definitely
if
have been.
out of the three, the spicy ranch I think is the best in this three.
I can't wait
I'd
to
agree.
hear the analytics on this show. Like, yo, that Doritos,
shit.
that Doritos segment was bomb, bro.
I'm still waiting to hear this murder segment.
Well,
If we have enough time, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
I need it.
I can make it quick.
because we still have to
Haley-
do.
Haley
Needham
would
still has
kill
a
me.
surprise topic for us too.
No, that
so
was
we
the
have.
surprise
Yeah,
topic.
his surprise topic
That
was
surprise
talking about
topic's
liquid death.
done, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
dang.
Yeah, that's why he brought that to the table
All
because
right.
we were
I mean,
kind of
we're
along
already segueing
renewables
into
and
it,
stuff.
All right.
yeah.
So
Well,
it just
anyways,
worked.
So the Eagles were in concert here in North Carolina recently. They actually made 2 stops. I think the first one might have been in Charlotte or Greensboro, maybe. But then there was 2 weeks went by, and then all of a sudden they were in Raleigh just the other night. So they went to North Carolina, left North Carolina, and then came back to North Carolina. And so I was like, I hate that I really wasn't even fully aware of those concerts because I really like the Eagles and I would have loved to seen them. So I went online and watched one of their really popular concerts from 1977, I think, right as Hotel California came out, and
Yep.
77.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it says major success of Hotel California was between 75 and 77.
And a lot of that concert is actually shown in the Eagles documentary that was on Netflix. I don't know if it's still on there, but it was on there a few years ago, and it was really good. And I watched it, and it got me thinking. I kind of hate how that band kind of went. So, and it happens. It happens to a
they're
lot of
still a
bands.
thing.
They're still a thing. But I hate how stuff went down like it does with a lot of different bands. But so Don Felder, he's not the original guitar player. He replaced their first guitar player, which was Bernie Ledden, I think was his name.
yeah, there you go.
He replaced Bernie Ledden, and Don Felder had a really big part in the Eagles, songwriting,
Musically, yeah,
and
definitely.
musically. He basically wrote all of the music to Hotel California, one of the biggest songs of all time, really. And so he wrote the music to that, and he wrote a lot of the music to Victim of Love, and and obviously the solo in Hotel California is legendary, which he kind of trades off with Joe Walsh a little bit. So
Which is cool as fuck, by the way.
yeah, and I really love the way he went, he strikes the strings when he plays guitar, his note choices and solos and everything. I just really have always liked it. But you go and watch that documentary, and in the early 80s, Don Felder and Glenn Fry got into this really big fight over, they were doing a political rally for some dude, and Don Felder had made fun of the guy or something like that, and it really pissed Glenn Fry off, and they were about to go play. And so they actually were verbally taunting each other on stage in the microphones, and they had audio of it on the documentary. You can hear them like...
I caught a little bit of that. I was curious as to... okay, so I'm not to interrupt you, but I'm not like the biggest, largest Eagles fan in the world, so don't pardon me for my ignorance. But I was kind of like looking into that, and I only got like a little smidge of information on that, just them arguing on stage. That was all that was really said, is that they argued on stage. Mm-hmm. And then there's like images to back all that shit up too.
Yeah.
From like them being pissed at each other pretty much.
Yeah. And they came close, I think, to getting in a physical altercation, but it ended in some guitar smashing, and basically the Eagles broke up after that. But they got back together in 1994 for that Hell Freezes Over tour, which was like a really big tour. And so like they got together with like Glenn Fry, Don Felder, Don Henley, Joe Walsh, and Timothy Schmidt, who he replaced their original bass player, but he's been with them ever since. And so then they stayed together for a while, but then issues about money started coming up. Apparently, Glenn Fry and Don Henley were getting a bulk of the money, and the rest of the guys weren't getting paid a fair share. Well, Joe Walsh and Timothy Schmidt,
they probably understood.
They were okay with it, but Don Felder had a problem with it, and it was a thing where he consistently had a problem with it. And it led to, in like 2001, him being fired from the group. Well, then after that, he sued the band for like wrongful termination, right? And so that pretty much,
it's a company at that point.
Yeah, and then so that pretty much put any hope for him ever joining the band again, just that completely went out the window. And then, of course, in 2016, Glenn Fry passed away. So that for a long time, ever since like 2001, there had been bad blood between Don Felder and the other guys in the Eagles. And Glenn Fry passes away. There's never
the initial problem gone.
There's never any room to reconcile their differences because Glenn Fry is dead. And apparently Don Felder has tried to reach out to the band multiple times, and he just gets ignored, and stuff like that.
So they've just
yeah. So it's one of those things. I don't know why, but that just kind of saddens me. Like
the Don Felder that. So Don Felder, just again to make sure, because we've got two Dons.
Yeah.
So
Don Felder is a guitar player.
He's the individual that wrote Hotel California.
He wrote most of the music. I think Don Henley and Glenn Fry had a lot to do with the vocal melody lines and stuff like that. But I think he at least wrote the foundation of the music and everything. Okay. So,
and with that being said, that's why that would be a kind of a problem not to hear him with the Eagles anymore.
He was like the heart and the soul of Hotel California.
Yeah, I mean, like of course, Joe Walsh had a lot to do with this solo and everything, just like Don Felder did. I mean, that solo is legendary, and Joe Walsh.
Just the music and the whole song is legendary.
Yeah. I mean, everything about that song is perfect, basically.
There's like a few songs that you think about, like the way you do Hotel California. Only other like Stairway.
Yeah.
Stairway, there's only a couple songs that really compare.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
trying to think of songs is hard to. Because it's just
Stairway's
so epic.
Highway to Hell. A lot of these big songs have destinations in them.
Yeah.
Hell, Heaven, California.
A more modern one, I consider Blackbird by Alter Bridge to be pretty...
When you say Blackbird, I think of the Beatles. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Well, you should go listen to Blackbird by Alter Bridge.
I don't think it's better than the Beatles one, though.
Dude, that song
Going
is
back
so
to your old
epic.
Podcast, yeah.
That song is so epic, dude.
But it's the same song. Or it's a different song.
Excuse me. It's a different song. It's
okay. Yeah, they're different songs. Completely.
Yeah, it's kind of a big epic. I would call it like an epic. It's built out in an epic, as in like it continues to build, and then it's on the same line. It's very minor, pointed, kind of like Hotel California. It's very similar to that kind of style of I'm just going to call them epics. That's a great way for me to explain it because I can't explain it any other way. Just those songs that are just so big and epic. Anthemic. There you go. Blackbird, just that song's got, of course, it's got a dual solo too. So like Miles opens up the solo with soul, and then like Mark Tremonti crushes you there at the end. The vocals are incredible.
Shout out to Mark Tremonti and Miles Kennedy and Alter Bridge.
Love those dudes. we got to open up for Tremonti and got to meet him.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
And that was a big moment in my life.
Yeah, that was definitely cool.
Yeah,
but you look a lot of times you look at these bands, especially bands that have like an original core lineup or something like that, and we as fans, we look at it like, man, that brothership is so cool. Their chemistry is so awesome, and a lot of times it ends up not being like that anymore, and you really hate that because like I think of it as like us three, like we've been doing music and stuff for so long now, like, and we were best friends and all that stuff, and like I would hate to think that once this podcast takes off,
once this podcast turns off, we're done.
We hate
no
each
more
other.
friends.
Fuck you. I'm going home.
But like I would hate to think that if we did get successful in something that like something like money and stuff would tear us apart like that. It's just it's a very upsetting thing to me, and so I'm very money hungry right now, I guess, in this stage of my life, like because I want to be a little more successful than I am. And
I'll give one thing about you though, like you are money hungry for all the other stuff that you've done. But you have never been money hungry for the music.
No.
If that makes sense. Blakely, you correct me if I'm wrong.
Anyone with drive deserves reward.
But this guy has never been like one of those like money is all that matters for me. That's the only reason I'm doing this.
No. But if it's something,
I've been there. I'm like, let me get that extra fucking couple dollars.
I mean, hey, we can all be bought to a certain extent, If I was playing on a gig that I wasn't necessarily happy with, and they were like, "Hey, we're going to throw you some more money," I'd be like, "Okay," like, then I'm going to go play that gig. That's just the way. You make that. You're making business decisions. It's nothing personal. You've got to protect yourself and things like that. But from my understanding, or at least what I've gotten out of the short time I've been able to research this topic, on stage it was a brotherhood. Off stage it was cocaine, and that's my understanding of it. Is there was just so much fucking partying, and everybody sort of. My dog barking?
She is.
Pebbles
getting loud.
Let me tell you, cocaine is not as fun as you think it is.
Well,
way more expensive than what you get.
Well, I mean, they had money, but I guess my point is that it seemed like off stage, kind of everybody's doing their own thing. Like I heard of one situation where like I can't even remember who it was, but someone had locked their door to their hotel room, and it pissed off Joe Walsh, so he couldn't get into the room. So then he beat through the wall. He beat through the wall until he got to that dude.
Joe Walsh was the kind of the party guy in the band.
Well, he wanted to hang out with that dude. He said that in an interview. It was he's like, you play for all these people, and then you go back to the hotel room and nobody's there.
Yeah,
everybody's in their own rooms. You're by yourself. He's like, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to hang out with somebody.
Well, and I think of what a lot of people might forget is that Joe Walsh was already an established, like, famous solo artist before he was in the Eagles. They brought him in to add a little bit more, I guess, maybe a little bit more rock element to the band, because the band was actually more of a country band when they first started. And then, when Don Felder and Joe Walsh joined, they added a little bit more rock element to the band and stuff. But Joe Walsh had like Rocky Mountain Way and stuff like that before he was in the Eagles. And he was definitely a party guy. And he tells you all about it. The breakup you can tell he really loves being in the Eagles though, because the first breakup of the band, upset him a lot, and that's actually what spiraled him into like a big old drinking binge, and stuff like that.
He got worse
and stuff.
And then they wanted to get back together, and that was a thing. Like, okay, Joe, you got to be clean.
Yeah.
He was sober that day.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and I think he's probably
been
been
sober
sober
ever since.
Yeah. So I guess it's upsetting to look at the music business and just look at how, like, we as fans look at it like, you know, these guys are they're so cool, they love each other and stuff like that. It's
seem
just
that way.
really, it's just well, you know, for me, I guess you just look at it. Some people look at it through different lenses, but yeah, it's really not that way once money and fame becomes a big part of it.
I think it's how big you get.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I think it's even like, you know, when you look at the small band shit, like kind of like the shit that we did, you know, like we're still brothers, we still love each other, we're sitting here doing this fucking podcast together. But if each of us, if I got offered $500,000 and the two of you got offered $100,000 a piece, would you still love me the same? You know what I mean? So I mean that's kind of what they're looking at.
Yeah, I think in that sort of situation, it's a what's the circumstances?
Yeah, I was about to say. I mean, what are the circumstances? Like, yeah.
It's what's the circumstances?
So, like,
and
say
yes.
I'm the face of the band.
No,
and like, I get offered the 500.
Well, let's just say
you guys put in more of the work, but you guys only get offered 100,000.
Hey, you know what? Actually, I'm totally cool with that because I mean,
that's
I'm still getting money too. I mean, like
I take back what I said about you earlier.
I say that now, but I don't know. I mean,
here's how I would look at it: is it's more of like okay, so Needham's the face of the band, and we get offered to play behind him for 100,000. Okay, it's circumstances. So if you're the face of the band, is it you that said you're the face of the band, or is it someone that purchased you to be Austin Needham, or is it someone that negotiated? No. What if you negotiated the deal and we had no idea? That's where things get complicated.
Behind our back, basically.
That's where things get complicated, and I think that's a similar situation
if
here.
Like the record label came up and said to all three of us at the same time, "Hey, he's the face of the band. He's getting paid." That's how it's going to be.
In a situation like that,
I would be cool with it.
Yeah, we would be cool with
it. But if I went to the record label privately and said, "Hey,
I'm negotiated
the face of the
for
band.
us,"
and I'm going to negotiate this. I'm getting 500.
You signed the contract. Yeah, that's so. It's more
it's pretty shady.
Yeah, it's more of a how the business is handled. So, I think it would be much more likely that someone go, Austin, you are exactly what we've wanted on this label, and we're prepared to offer you $500,000. You also have this amount of money for a band. That's a lot. Like, if you hit us up and it's like, hey, you get $100,000 for touring for me for 2 years.
Like if I find you guys later versus like we came up as one entity.
Yeah. What if the record label hired us and then that's how we met you? I mean, there's a lot of situations that can occur.
Well, and that's honestly kind of like, and not to get too off the rails, that's honestly not exactly that, but that's in a weird way how Alice in Chains found Lane Staley, because Alice in Chains, Jerry Cantrell, they were like, oh, well, we're here, we're playing this music, Jerry Cantrell, Lane Staley, he's in the other room, singing some music, and we're just gonna sound really shitty until he can come and do this shit with us.
Yeah, until he comes and plays with us.
Right. And that's eventually what happened. He was like, y'all sound really great, but I'm gonna come do this with you because fuck that guy that's singing for you.
Yeah, whoever that guy's singing for
another
you.
Another thing that could be weird too is, say you got really successful, or say you're offered to be the face of whatever, and we're your backup band or something like that. Say so there was later on down the road some decisions get made, and you're behind the decisions. You decide that we're not.
You decide our fate.
We're not the musicians for you anymore. You decide that you're gonna fire us, basically.
So I have like the option of like Austin Blakely or like Randy Rhoads. I mean, like,
well, not even necessarily that.
I'm picking Austin Blakely.
No, pick up Randy Rhoads. You're dumbass.
Yeah, well, just saying you felt you saw some musicians. Maybe you wanted to go in a certain direction musically that we didn't fit or something like that.
Yeah.
So you
changed your style.
So you come up and fire us. Now it would be respectful if you did it in person, and stuff like that. But I think we would still probably feel a little maybe like
Hurt.
Yeah.
If we were a
hurt.
big part
I
of
mean,
your
I guess,
success, yeah.
I guess maybe I would understand, but at the same time, I'd feel hurt because we've been friends for so long, and stuff like that. So maybe, how about this? Maybe just when you get really successful as a solo artist,
Remember
just
this.
don't invite us to be your band.
Oh yes, I just find
You better
studio
invite-
people
Just get really successful and just give me some money. Like just give me some of the money.
Give me some money.
Yeah, and
Just
then
take care of us.
exactly. Take care of us.
No,
and that's all I ask.
I think in a situation like the Eagles too, you had an entity as a band. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Nick, but these men should be equally the Eagles, right? There's not a man that is President Eagle.
Yeah,
I
agree.
So if that's your contract or whatever, that you said it was Don Henley and Glenn Fry.
They became
getting paid more?
They were, because they were the ones that.
And Don Henley's the drummer, right?
He's the drummer. He's also kind of like a primary singer.
Primary singer?
He sang Hotel California and Victim of Love and all those songs.
So is it just because he's singing that makes him more valuable?
I think him and Glenn Fry were the primary songwriters in the band too.
Oh, okay. So they were putting forth a lot of effort.
Yeah,
and they wanted,
like I said,
more out
like
of it.
Don Velder contributed like Hotel California and Victim of Love. I mean, I don't know how much else he contributed, and stuff like maybe he had a part in One of These Nights, maybe, or was he even in the band when that
I mean,
song
they
came
were
out? I don't
all
know.
singing to an extent.
Yeah. But I think Don Henley and Glenn Fry took a huge bulk of the songwriting. So I guess that's where, it's kind of the same, sort of the similar situation with like Kiss. Like with the original four, Gene and Paul wrote most of the songs, though Ace did contribute some songs like Cold Gin and Parasite and stuff like that. And Peter contributed some songs as well, at least in the beginning. Yeah. But Gene and Paul wrote most of the tunes, at least structurally, I'm sure all of the guys contributed riffs and stuff like that, But when Kiss reunited with the original four in the 90s, it kind of ended the same way. There started to become some riffs about money. Gene and Paul were making more, and I think even Ace was maybe not making as much as Gene and Paul, but was making more than Peter or something like that. So Peter was getting less than everybody. So
Poor Peter.
so
Poor Peter.
It's just money is a weird thing.
Yeah, and I think let's say I want it to be as wonderful as like the end of Bohemian Rhapsody, where it's like the band just decides to split in quarters.
Yeah.
But I guess truly in reality, when it comes to making money as a musician, if you're putting forth all the effort and then someone else is getting 25%, that might piss you off a little bit. I definitely get that.
Well, I guess that's why there's contracts, though, too.
Yeah.
Like,
I bet they get complicated too, man. Yeah. It's like, well, I wrote this song.
There's probably a lot.
It's going to make this much money.
Probably a lot of shit in fine print.
Yeah,
that you got to read too.
I bet that's fucking nuts, man. Well, Needham, you got anything else to add to that conversation? As you heard from the bathroom.
Nope, I am good, brother. Your boy
gotta
has
take a pee
your boy
break
has
with
the
all this water we're putting down.
Your boy has the bladder of a 3-year-old.
He's got some Voodoo Rangers beside him too. Shout out to Voodoo Ranger.
Please sponsor us. Well, sponsor some of my boys anyway.
I think I had one of those the other night, and it was actually pretty good.
They're pretty good.
That's the thing with this podcast. We want to make sure everybody gets the credit that they deserve.
That they deserve.
So anytime we have a product on this show,
Liquid Death,
give
Voodoo
it a shout
Rangers,
out.
whatever it may be.
So Blakely, you had
I guess we're gonna true crime it.
you had a crime. You had a true crime for
I
us.
love true crime.
Yeah.
Haley would kill me if we didn't go into this.
Really?
Yeah, she
Okay.
loves it.
Brianna might too.
Well, if it, I guess on the words of that, this one's for all the ladies. So I ran across a video. I first saw this video. Well, this video in particular was done well by a channel called Explore Us on YouTube, and they do really long videos, and a lot of it, I mean, you could kind of see them as sort of documentaries, but it's more informative of the situation in the time, watching it right then. And it's not that you're watching these crimes happen. It's more of like interrogations, what film we do have, things like that, and they analyze these situations. So that was where
What did you say this channel was called?
it was called Explore With Us. Sorry.
Explore with us. Shout out to Explore with us
on YouTube.
Make sure we shout out to all of them.
Yeah, they're badass. And I got some sources from, or some of this information from True Crime Daily, which is another YouTube channel.
Shout out to True Crime Daily.
And just some other articles and stuff when I was looking into things. So it's hard for me to source everything, but if you have any rebuttals to what I'm about to say or anything that I do say, just let us know. We'll do whatever we got to do to correct it.
Put it on that Facebook page.
Yeah. The Facebook page is rocking. We also have a Twitter. That's at Get Disarranged. So
follow.
Follow and see this.
Hit
We
that follow button.
Post the new podcasts up on those and have conversation and chit chat and share cool shit and all that good stuff. Anyways, so I'm gonna go with the name that Explore With Us did, and call this the Diary Killer. She didn't kill diaries, but. And I don't think she was
Stabs
ever
a book to death.
I don't think she was ever coined in.
Shout out to Harry Potter.
Shout out to Harry Potter.
Oh yeah.
I don't think she was ever coined in media for like as the diary killer, but that was a great way to give her some sort of name. So picture this. I think it's 2009, if I'm not mistaken. St. Martin's, Missouri. We've all been there.
Go there all the time.
St. Martin, Missouri.
Last Tuesday. Yeah.
It's a very, very small town. And so small, I think there's only like 1,100. How many people? I always do my numbers wrong. Yeah, 1,100 people that live in the whole entire town, which is kind of crazy. So there was a girl that went missing. Her name was Elizabeth Olton. And so Miss Elizabeth, I think, was about 8 or 9, somewhere around there. She was a 4th grader. That's what I kept hearing. I don't know if we couldn't confirm. I mean, obviously they know her birth date, but maybe it just wasn't out in the media or whatever. But anyways, she goes missing. And basically what happened, and this is from the mother's perspective, is a neighbor girl came up to the door. She's a little girl named Emma. She's about 6 years old. And she asks if Elizabeth can come out and play. And it's about 5 o'clock. And she goes, nah, you really need to practice for, your school recital or what. It was some sort of theater thing that she had a big part in. And blah, 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 homework, chores, whatever. And she's like, oh, okay, but please, and you do as kids do. And eventually Mom said, okay, for an hour, come home at 6. So around this time, it was October. It was kind of around Halloween. So it's getting dark early. It's getting dark at about 6:30. So, and supposedly she was scared of the dark. So this little girl would have been on her way home at 6 on the dot. So anyways, so she doesn't come home. And of course, 6:30 rolls around and she's like, my kid's scared of the dark. Something's fucking going on. She's freaking out, whatever. She calls the neighbor, and the neighbor is actually an old couple. It's I can't remember their names. We might hit that a little later. But the grandma's a little more involved in this story than the grandfather. But they have 5 children. Not that's theirs, it's their grandchildren. And Emma's one of them. I think she was the youngest. So she went to go play with Emma. Is she down there? And Grandma says, no, she was never here. And she's like, what? What do you mean she? Well, they weren't playing down here if they were playing. They were never down here. So anyways, so Mom calls the police. Obviously, they start a search. They're looking around. I think this happened this in particular police case happened so quickly because, or the action on it was so quick is because it was such a small town. You're good. You're good, man. I
Sorry,
cough
man.
into the mic all the time.
I'm dying over here.
Yeah. Do you need water or anything? You good? Okay. But anyways, so where was I? Okay, so police hop into action pretty damn quick. So they're down there. They're looking for, and I think it's only because it's a small town. That's what I was trying to say is they move fucking quick. So they got down there. They're talking to people, whatever. And I guess at this point it's about 6:30 or whatever. And the mom's continuously calling her cell phone, and it's going straight to voicemail, which is again very odd. So, anyways, point of the matter is, the police actually set up a grid, and they call, I think, the fire department and any other volunteers that they know that are just community volunteers, and they set up a grid search. So, a good way to explain this property is it's on a long, kind of a dirtish road, a gravel road, and these two houses are kind of like at the bottom. So, like, one is at the very, very bottom. That's the house Emma lives at, and the one towards the top of the road, let's say about a quarter of a mile or so, is the Elizabeth's house. And so they're setting up a grid because there's a lot of woods. It's going to be hard to cover all that area and search for this little girl. They set up the grid search, and then the police actually get the idea. This was a little later into the next day, but I'll go ahead and say it since I talked about the cell phone. They actually get the idea to ping the cell phone. So if you know what a pinging is, that's basically when the service provider sends a signal to even a dead phone. They can send it to a dead phone as long as there's some sort of battery left. Most phones will die before they're truly dead. And they ping it. They are able to ping it 3 times, and that is it before the phone completely disappears. And what that does is that hits a cell tower, sends that signal to the phone, and gives you a pretty good idea of where that device is. And it was in the fucking woods. So it was just kind of like deep center woods. That's where it was pinging from. So with that being said, they're not really sure exactly what's going on yet because, one, this little girl wouldn't have necessarily went in the woods by herself, especially that late at night. But also they don't know if like maybe someone picked her up and like threw like a child molester or something like that. They're kind of worried about something like that. Maybe she dropped her phone, threw her phone, whatever. So they don't even know if she's around. They're just kind of shooting ideas. Then they issue, of course, the missing persons report the next day. So I think that was on a Wednesday. Here's a Thursday. And the FBI gets involved because it's a young child. And this is where I mentioned the 1,100 people. 1,100 people live in this town, and 300 of them were dedicated to searching for this little girl. That tells you how tight-knit this is, like this little town is. 300 individuals committed their time to finding this little girl. That's after that. Percentage. That it's fucking insane. It's like a little less than a third of the town with just dropping everything and going and looking for this girl. So they were serious by this point. So they set up checkpoints on all the main roads, asking questions, whatever. They actually have dive searchers searching water, like bodies of water, just to make sure, they haven't confirmed any murder or death or anything like that, but they're trying to just figure out what happened. They had air search and they had dog teams all looking for this little girl. Excuse me. So 24 hours go by. So this is about the time they issue out the missing persons, and they had done their normal interviews with all the community that was around, people on the street, things like that. Which the street would have been kind of a rural road, but they're stopping people as they're driving by. Did you see anything? You see anything? Little girl, which way? Things like that. So they go back to Emma, who was the 6-year-old girl. And what was I trying to say? My notes are fucking with me right now. I think I know what I was trying to get at. So they go to Emma, and they just get her to reiterate her story. And she did add a little bit onto it this time. So the first time they asked her what happened, she said, I went to get Emma, I went to get Elizabeth, sorry. I went to see Elizabeth. We talked her mom into letting her come out to play. We walked down to the house and played in the yard. They played with dolls or whatever. And then about 6 o'clock rolled around, her alarm went off, and she walked home. Simple enough. She just went home.
So Emma, not to interrupt you, but Emma's the 6-year-old.
The younger girl that came to the door.
Elizabeth is how old?
I think she's about like 8 or 9-ish.
Okay.
It said she was in 4th grade.
Okay.
So I think that's about right. So, anyway, so Elizabeth evidently walked home. She's the one that's missing. And this is what she added this time. And I think they just asked her more this time. They just tried to see if they could get any more information. What'd you do after? And she said, well, I played a little bit more, and then I got stuck in the thorn bushes. I got something on her wristband stuck in the thorn bush, and she was stuck there. So she hollered up to the house for help. She was calling for help. And her older sister, who's 15, which is Miss Alyssa, came out to help her. This is where I love Explore With Us, because I got this detail that I couldn't get from anything else, and this was actually in the video interrogation sort of situation, is that she told them that Alyssa came out, helped her, and she had a little bit of blood on her pants. And Alyssa told her, she asked why you're bleeding, and Alyssa said, I'm on my period, don't tell nobody, it's embarrassing. Fair enough. Seems about right for a 15-year-old girl, honestly. But that's what she added. That's what she added to the story this time. So the FBI, or no, my apologies. Police interviewed her, got the first story. FBI interviewed her, got that last piece. That makes a little more sense. So the second interview with local law enforcement, she confirmed it. She said it again to the local law enforcement, the same thing. So evidently there's 5 brothers and 2 sisters, or no, there's 5 siblings, 3 brothers and 2 sisters that the Bustamantes, which is the grandparents, are taking care of. So then, of course, something else has to happen while the FBI's around. Volunteers from that 300 grid party that's looking for in the woods stumble upon a hole. It is 4 by 3 foot. Like it's little girl sized. It's only about an inch deep. It's not very far. So, of course, they don't touch it. They call law enforcement. They cut it off and, kind of look at it, but try not to disturb it because they're not really sure what's going on yet. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to laugh at this. It's just, it's so fucking bizarre. So they're pretty sure that this hole had nothing in it at this point. That's what they're thinking. But it is a weird hole. So this is when they start talking to Alyssa, because now they've got the story from Emma about the period blood on her pants. And Alyssa is very, very familiar with the woods. She's very, very familiar with the property. And she's been known to dig holes, so are her other siblings. So the FBI and it takes her out there. The police are already out there. The FBI actually take her out there. And one of the police overhear her say that she dug the hole. And so she claims to dig holes because she likes digging which I don't know. I guess if I just lived in the middle of the fucking woods, there's nothing else to do. I don't know.
We're getting Shia LaBeouf over here.
Yeah, she just liked digging holes, and she liked to bury dead animals when she found them. So
Classic serial killer trait right there.
well, that doesn't mean she's necessarily killing them. I'm just saying that she's finding dead animals of some sort, or if she did find dead animals, that gives her an excuse to dig a hole. Is kind of what I'm getting. They excavate, the hole's empty. So, still nowhere further as to finding this fucking child. That's what's more insane, is that they did all this in a short amount of time, and what they land on is a little girl saying she likes to dig holes. A 15-year-old girl saying she likes to dig holes. So, then the FBI get the bright idea, which they had already done this. The police officers have already done this, to search the Bustamante home, which they searched all the homes in that neighborhood. On that stretch of road, they searched every single home. Police did. FBI do it. And they searched the home. And of course, where's all the fun stuff? It's in Alyssa's room. All the fun stuff we're going to take back with us to FBI headquarters is in Alyssa's room. So they go in. It's fucking wrecked. It is an absolutely wrecked room. Your typical 15-year-old girl, I'm not saying they can't be, dirty or have clothes on the floor or whatever. It's just different than anything they've ever seen. So, Alyssa's room had all this writing on the walls. And this is one of them. I just quoted it. This was actually in pen, but it said, "It was written in blood. It was written in blood!" ! Just a phrase on the fucking wall. There was a poem about cutting herself in one of the corners of the room written on the wall, and then some blood underlining the words cut. And then there was a picture drawn in blood of someone, with I guess gashes on them. And then right beside it in blood, the name Emma, which was really fucking weird. So
Not curious curious at all.
I guess where I'm, I mean, this is a recent thing. When people, I went to school with people who, may have thought that cutting themselves was going to be a good thing, inevitably, I guess, to make them feel something or whatever, what have you. But I'd never heard of anybody do it. Like most of these people keep this on the down low. They aren't cutting their arms; they're cutting their thighs, things like that. They're kind of concealing it. They're not wanting it to be obvious. This girl's fucking screaming it. It was written in blood. And she's got a poem about cutting herself. That's just, I don't know. Anyways, I'm kind of confused as to why the family did not realize this sooner. You know what I mean?
She's just
So
a girl.
was that the story right there?
No, I've got more.
She's just a girl going through a phase. It's
A little bit
okay. She don't need psychiatric help.
I promise we're almost to resolve. We might have to fill you in when you come back. You won't miss too much.
Golly, what's this, number
Neil's
6?
got that bladder.
I have a bad lip.
So what happens? So what happens next is they obviously see this and think we should probably look in here and just make sure nothing. I mean, this was nothing specific to Elizabeth, but it's just weird behavior. So, and Alyssa, the whole time she is present while this is going on. So I think they take her pillowcase, they take her sheet, and they take a few other things, but that's about it. So, and by this point we learned Alyssa likes cutting. She's attempted suicide before, friends say, and I guess her psychiatrist had confirmed that. And turns out she's fascinated with death. and friends, yeah, death and murder in particular. Friends had kind of confirmed this sort of stuff. Like she would just, to give you a really good example, she just openly at a party one time, she was just like, I just wonder what it would be like to just, take somebody's life, to just physically just watch it leave, as you're doing it. And that's a horrible thing to think about, is that there's a 15-year-old out there, thinking about this and curious. I think that's probably the worst part, is that they're curious. So they also found some letters on the walls, and it's cards and letters from her father, who is Caesar. Caesar's in prison, so that's why Daddy's not present. I think they're with Caesar's parents. He got put in jail for some sort of physical altercation. And Mom's on drugs, so they were in and out of being with their mother.
Great home life.
Yeah. So, well, they're now with the grandparents, who seem to be good people. But one of the items that they found, this is the most interesting one, is they found a diary, as it hints to our diary killer. So obviously there was a lot of disturbing writing. It's a very, you could tell this was one of Alyssa's biggest outlets. She was constantly writing in this thing. So with that being said, here's an example I wrote down. So evidently there was a writing about burning down somebody's house and making sure everyone died in it, like with the burning. So she's talking about just some weird shit.
Make a good metal album.
Yeah, it'd make a great metal album.
Yes.
Well, here's the even better one. The last entry was on Wednesday, October 21st, and it was completely scribbled out with a blue pen, except for one line. And the last line was, "Now I have to go to church. LOL."
With the LOL in there.
With LOL. It said LOL as the last part of that. So, again, weird. And it was the same day. Weird. Mind you, they've already talked to all the kids in that road was accounted for, except for Alyssa. So like their whole entire day is accounted for, adults around all the time, except for Emma going to the door. Other than that, Emma was accounted for. So you see where this is going. I think this is pretty obvious. So the officers actually used some black lighting on the scribbled bit. And with that black lighting, you could see the pencil through the blue ink. So obviously she couldn't outsmart, well, this in particular officer. This wasn't the FBI. And he got 2 words out of it. This was right before his last his last conversation with Alyssa. And actually, this was not supposed to be an interrogation. It turned into an interrogation. So once they got this information. So they used the black light, and the only 2 words they could make out at the time was cut throat. It obviously turned into an interrogation. So they go in there, they give a lot of space, but she's got an individual on her side that's like children get a special person, like an advocate in the room. So it's typically some sort of child worker or something like that that's there for the child to make sure the police officer's not taking advantage. Also, her grandmother was in the room during this conversation. The officer does real good. I watched the full thing. It's close to 2 hours, with some parts sped up. And it, at first, was going well. You could tell she's doing fine. You can also see a lot in her body language. She's very regular, and the further we get into it, we're getting a lot more hair flips, head bobs, messed hair. She's unraveling. And then I know, like kind of like you're doing right now, when you talk to somebody and you want to seem sincere, we naturally kind of bob our heads, left, right, whatever we do. But she didn't start that. That wasn't a normal mannerism for her until like the last 30 minutes of the interrogation when shit got real. So to get to the nitty gritty, they go over the story 1,000,001 times. And they come back to, okay, well, the FBI took some things from your room. She goes, I know. He goes, do you know what they took? She goes, well, she named off a couple things. He goes, we also got a diary. And she had no idea. She had not checked back on this diary after they were in there. She had no idea. She thought it was still right where she left it. The grandmother then was like, oh, okay. The officer asked the grandmother if she had ever went through that diary, and she said, sometimes, but, I try to give her her privacy. So, obviously, it hadn't been recently. So, nobody noticed this thing was gone. And he goes, well, obviously, there's some things in there, that, a girl is supposed to get off their chest in certain ways, and if you got to do it on the pages, fair enough. But the last page was the day that Elizabeth disappeared, and you scribbled out everything except for going to church. Problem is that anybody can hold this up to a blacklight and start to read what was under there. So at this point, he's, where I'm going with this. So,
And she didn't put any more entries in the diary either.
No, that was the very last entry. And they caught it, I guess they got the diary on Friday. The FBI got it on Friday, and this all happened on a Wednesday. So if that tells you anything. So, I think at this point she kind of knows she's fucked. So they ask her, so what really happened? And she proceeds to tell them that they were in the woods. Elizabeth fell, knocked her head, and died. And he's like, okay, well, this is a lot different than what you've been telling me, so we need to elaborate. They go in on it. She makes a big story about how she burned her body by the creek, and because she was scared. She didn't know what to do, so she burnt her body and pushed all the ash into the water. And of course he's like, well, I know you're 15 and you've never burned a body, and you probably should never think about burning a body, but that's not exactly the way it works. Burning a body is almost impossible.
Takes some time.
Yeah,
You gotta have really high heat.
yeah, it's almost impossible.
Yeah,
So
bone is a bitch.
yeah, it's just so.
You would know.
Anyways, we know that didn't happen. We're kind of there. We know that didn't happen. So she tries to rebut a couple times, and it kind of round robins, and then eventually he goes, "Okay, so she died. If someone was to examine her body today, they're going to know exactly what happened to her that killed her. We're that good. Everybody knows this. Even murderers know this." And then he just said, "There's a throat cut." And that's the point that she decided to give up, and she said yes. And the grandmother goes absolutely fucking berserk.
Understandably.
She makes one of the worst noises I've ever seen, and about falls out of her chair. I think she gave her grandmother a fucking heart attack. You can hear it in the hallway. They get her out of the room because it's just that bad. And then he proceeds to get the details. And basically what it equates to is how's a great way to start this? We should probably start with Emma. So Alyssa took Emma and told her to go get Elizabeth. They're up at Elizabeth's house. Alyssa is not in view. Emma goes and asks for Elizabeth. They come outside. Alyssa drags Elizabeth, says, I need to show you something in the woods. Drags her in the woods, tells Emma to go home. Emma goes home. So Emma literally isn't accounted for probably 15 minutes. Other than that, someone's been with her the whole time. She drags Elizabeth out into the woods and to what is a pre-dug hole. So the first hole was an attempt to be a pre-dug hole. The ground was too hard. She moved on. That's what happened.
So this was this inch hole.
Yeah.
That we were talking about originally. Yeah, okay.
And she had a pre-dug hole a little further out. So it was about a quarter of a mile out in the woods. And she knew exactly where it was, took police officers to it. Took her to that hole and started by strangling her. Then stabbed her, I think, 5 or 6 times, and then slit her throat and threw her in a hole. Buried her. Which is fucking terrible. But this caught my interest because it was a 15-year-old girl. And it's just like to try to think that a 15-year-old girl could do something like this, even if you're terribly depressed, even if your parents are that terrible. You know, I guess it just hits me in a certain way. You know, we've all had siblings that were 15 years old. So, well, I haven't, but I've had nieces and nephews that were that age, and to just try to think about, you know, that could have been us. You know, just think about that shit, you know.
How remorseful was she? Did she show any?
Actually, she actually got some relief after she told the truth. So the tics sort of stopped, if that tells you anything. The hair flipping, some of those things actually stopped. The one thing she did do, she did put her hand in her face for a bit. It was mostly during the lying where she was so cold. There was at one point when she said that Elizabeth died and hit her head and stuff like that. She'd like put her hand in her face, or put her hands on her face, and just kind of went limp for a little bit, almost like she was crying. And then she dropped her hands really fucking quick and said, I burn her. And that's when you're like, she's coming up with this on the spot at this point. So here with the diary, revealed all that bullshit. Let me get into the real story. I'm going through my notes. I'm just trying to make sure I've covered everything. They found the body. Autopsy confirms it. She was actually buried in a hole that was only 3 inches. So she still didn't get very far. She covered her in dirt, and by this point, like, limbs are sticking out of the ground and stuff. It was not good for that little girl. This leads them to the body. Autopsy confirms everything she says. This is the most that I looked at the diary entry, and I tried to make out what was there. There's some news reports that are saying things a little different. I tried to make out what was there, and this is what I could come up with, which is pretty close to everybody else's. They just use some different words. I think they're not necessarily quoting it, and I was going to try to quote it here. But this is what it said. I just fucking killed someone. I strangled them, and I slit their throat, and I stabbed them. It was amazing. It was pretty enjoyable. And then, anyways, now I have to go to church, LOL. That was the diary entry. So what I'm trying to say here, Nick, is I don't think there was much remorse. If you want me to be honest, this girl, you know, in court, she apologized to the family, but it was your standard.
Sorry.
It was your standard, like, lawyer's apology. Like, I wish if I could give my life to give back hers, if I could, I would. They all say that.
Yeah.
They all say that. But anyways, so she's only 15 years old. Of course, she gets first degree murder at this point. She actually gets 2 counts of first degree murder because it was premeditated. The confession that I'm talking about that I witnessed, and I can see why they did this. The defense actually went for suppression on that initial confession. And it's because of a couple things. The advocate did a lot of rapport building. And then towards the end, and I think it was just because everybody was tired in that room, but it almost turned into like she was the interrogator too, which wasn't good for a 15-year-old that's grandmother just walked out of the room. And evidently there's only certain things you can ask minors. Evidently there's certain questions you cannot, and the officer actually led her. But we also have it on paper. So, I mean, do with that what you will. And she knew where the body was. So, I mean, she did it, but the confession, they were trying to withhold all that information that was said in that room.
Right.
And also, during that time...
But wait.
Yeah.
There's more.
Yeah. This is good for Alyssa. Also, federal law at that time was changing over to where juveniles can't be sentenced to a life sentence without parole. It's unconstitutional. So
she's like our age now, right? If she was 15 in 2009, she's close to our age.
Yeah, she's pretty much our age.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been around like the time we grew up. She was like, she looked like a girl we went to school with. Like, she straight up looked like it. So there was a plea deal made. With the prosecution made a plea deal to give her second-degree murder. She pleads guilty to the second-degree murder charge.
Has to give her parole.
Yeah. She gets, instead of reevaluating everything.
Right.
Just made the plea deal. And so that would give her 10 to 30 years clear. Just 10 to 30 years clear. Or life without parole. The judge actually ruled out the other thing. They took the second-degree murder. The judge gave him the book, so it was life with parole. So she has to serve 35 years, and then she's eligible for parole. Yeah, it's
like another 20-some years.
Yeah, but it's still fucking nuts, man. That like a girl that did that could get out. That is still fucking
crazy.
Nuts.
And it's not like she was so young. It's like she didn't know what she was doing or something.
What? At 15,
like,
you know.
Yeah, like you're conscious enough to you're aware enough to know like what's going on and what you're doing and stuff like that. I mean, it's like that same argument.
If you watch the
brutal,
interview,
too.
you can tell.
That was a brutal way to dispatch that other girl. You know,
it's like that. Well, it's like that same excuse that the Manson followers gave after they murdered Sharon Tate and them. They were like, well, we were just under the spell of Charlie, and we were on drugs and stuff. Like, I mean, these people were like 20 something. I mean, like you knew what you were doing. Like,
I mean, they were being fed bullshit. I mean, cults are cults, but at the same time, they still did it.
Yeah.
And they knew the consequences of what reality was, and then they knew the consequences of what Charlie's reality was. But yeah, you're right. I mean, when you're of a certain age, I mean, you kind of know that killing another individual is a bad thing to do. And she had premeditated this. It was almost thought, it's rumored that she was planning on her brothers. She's got twin brothers. She was planning on 2 holes for her brothers. And then it got more complicated, and she only had one brother. And I think she had a love-hate relationship with Emma, the way it sounded. So, like, Emma kind of did what she wanted, but she always called on her sister when she needed help. And then, I'm sure a 6-year-old, sister would bug you and shit like that. I think she had a love-hate relationship with her little sister. But that's the rumor, is that it was supposed to be the twin brothers. I don't know. It's sketchy ass shit. It was very interesting that something like that occurred and they solved it so quickly, but it was so fucking bizarre. Like, there was just all this fucking weird shit in there, and like she was just almost like one step away from getting away with that shit. If she would have said nothing about that fucking hole, like that, what reason would they have to, go searching 15, her walls? Yeah. And I just don't. I mean, I feel like she was one step away.
Get away with that shit, though,
yeah. It it just makes me feel like she was like one step away. Like if they knew the hole was there, obviously, but if they knew that she was not the one that dug the hole, or if someone else claimed it, because one of the brothers easily could have popped up and said, well, we dig holes all the time. You know, it could have been as easy as that. But that's what got their attention it actually got the police officer's attention, not the FBI's attention. The police officer was like, oh, you dug the hole? And she goes, yeah, but it's like a perfect rectangle, man. Like, she measured this shit out. She was like, I'm going to fit a little girl in this. But just the shit she was saying to her friends, they just didn't take it seriously. If you go on her YouTube channel, she used to say her hobbies were cutting and murder. That was like her thing. So nobody took her seriously.
That's almost like we were just talking about going to school with kids like that back in the day. Like, I mean, you literally had these like
kids
weird
did that.
emo kids that would say stuff like that,
Yeah.
you know, or write stuff like that or something, you know. But yeah, you never know. Sometimes you may want to look a little closer into that.
Yeah, and I think maybe the grandparents were thinking they were doing the best for those kids, and I think they were. I'm just trying to say that, like, you know, they lost track of one of them, and it's not their fault. It's just that happened, you know, and that didn't have to happen, even if she was a little emo, crazy nutso. But you do what you can. You do what you can as a parent, I guess. I know there's probably some remorse, a lot of remorse felt by that family as to their sister and granddaughter doing that, but that's the way the world turns. Okay, we need to end this on a happy note because that got really fucking sad.
So I know you didn't have anything planned for this or anything, but I did find one that I figured I'd go ahead and throw in there for your legit or shit.
Legit or shit?
Look at Needham coming in clutch.
I found one right here for you. I'm going to throw it. Only one.
All right, this is what we'll end with.
Only one.
All right.
This is the guest one. Okay.
Guess legit or shit?
All right, legit or shit. Perfume musk came from a sack in a Mojave cactus.
Perfume what?
Musk. Yeah.
That's just like a
yes or no?
The strong smell.
Okay.
Came from a sack in a Mojave cactus.
I'm gonna go with
no.
I'm gonna go with legit.
No, it's shit.
So when you got legit, you got shit.
Mm-hmm.
Blakely, it is shit. You know where it came
Woo!
from? You know where it came from?
Where'd it come from?
Perfume musk came from a sack in front of a deer's dick. Way worse.
Are you
That's legit.
Is this stuff that people put on?
Yeah.
So they're putting
that's hilarious.
deer dick
You get deer dick
on their
in
body.
your perfume.
Nice.
Does it smell good? Or is it just in some
to female
perfumes?
deers, I guess.
Wait, so it's only for...
No, it's legit perfume. Like
It's legit perfume. Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so it's a real product that someone could put on their body.
Yeah.
Legit or shit.
Thank you, Nick. All right. Well, I guess that's our show, and we're gonna eat these Doritos, and these dudes probably want to get home. It's getting late.
Well, thanks for having me, fellas.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
You're welcome anytime.
It's been a fun time. Come back. Oh yeah.
You'll probably be on the next episode.
Yeah, we're gonna try. We're gonna try to make this third chair a good option as well. Just to have anyone and everyone
If you
join
want
us.
to be a part.
Now it's going to be a fourth chair. This third chair is taken up now.
Yeah. Well,
oh yeah, Needham's claiming the third chair.
If you want to be a part of the show, all you got to do is reach out and ask, and we will make you a part of the show. We want to talk to anyone and everyone, not just big time celebrities that are going to come on the show. We have them scheduled. May is full, so don't even ask.
I thought Rogan was going to be on here.
He's going to be on here in June.
Yeah, June.
Yeah, June. We've scheduled him for June.
He paused his show.
Yeah. He's pausing his show completely. He's talking about maybe a Fear Factor reunion.
We were watching Fear Factor.
We were watching
because
Fear
it's on
Factor.
Hulu now, and it's so good.
Joe Rogan with hair. It's awesome.
So good.
No, seriously, go check us out. Go follow join the Facebook group and follow the Twitter page. And this show is also on all the streaming platforms on Spotify, Google, on YouTube. Apple is we're getting it worked out. We don't know what the problem is there.
There's some problems, but we're gonna get it to you Apple users. In the meantime, Spotify, YouTube, Google Podcasts, and Anchor.
Anchor.
So And thank you, Anchor, for making this easy.
Yes. Shout out to Anchor.
Shout out to Anchor. A free advertisement. You're going to be paying me for that here soon. Anyways, we had a great time. Hope you all did. I came up with the opener, Nick. How do we close this fucking thing?
So when you have a new person on, of course, you have to get them to say your little catchphrase. So y'all prepare to be disarranged.
Later. Prepare to get disarranged.